Weeknights starting at 5, right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Don't listen to a damn word she says. I'm always pissed off.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, nothing frustrates me more than liberal hypocrisy. Take our food, for example. You know, the left claims to care about the poor and the environment, but guess what? They're waging a silent war against America's farmers that is making our food supply more costly and less sustainable. America's family farmers are producing more food using less land and fewer resources than ever before. Now, they should be cheered, but instead, radical groups are working with government bureaucrats to crack down on our farmers and limit the tools and technology that they're allowed to use. Now, the result is higher food costs for you, the American consumer, and low-income families, they're hit the hardest. Now, thankfully, someone is fighting back. Protect the Harvest is a national coalition working to defend modern American agriculture. You can check them out at protecttheharvest.com and follow them on Facebook to get the very latest news and see how you can help. Don't let radical activists control your family's food choices. Visit protecttheharvest.com today.
5:07 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Good morning. Things are looking good right now on the expressways and tollways. The overnight work is gone. No crashes or delays to report. You may encounter a little fog in some areas this morning. So where that's the case, allow some following distance. The Edens is clear. No delays to report on the Kennedy. The express lane's open inbound. 190 is fine. Eisenhower, Stevenson, and the Rhine, all good. Same goes for I-57 and the Bishop Ford Freeway. No crashes, problems, or delays to report on the tollways. I-80 is fine. Northwest Indiana looking good. Traffic is a service of Illinois Partners for Clean Air. With today's cars, idling your engine for just 10 seconds wastes more gas and money than stopping and restarting your car. Learn to breathe easy, save easy with the Illinois Partners for Clean Air at cleantheair.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today will be cloudy with a high 44. Then tonight, mostly cloudy with a shower in spots toward dawn, a low 39. A passing shower or two in the morning tomorrow, otherwise breezy with clouds, high 52. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
40 at O'Hare, 44 along the lakefront. Next news, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
In fact, since this summer, ISIL has not had a single successful major offensive operation on the ground in either Syria or Iraq.
Now, in the wake of the worst terror attack since 9/11, federal agents are reconstructing the online history of Malik and her husband Syed Farouk. A history that shows even before they met, they were on the road to jihad, something authorities could have known but did not, as she was welcomed to America.
You know, obviously, things went wrong.
I know why I have feelings, good, bad, and otherwise, about Star Wars, and I have a lot. I spent the whole day talking about the whole Darth Vader situation. But
Really?
Oh.
You could?
Yeah, like...
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
I love the way you stretch and the noise you make when you do it.
Getting into it. The Star Wars this week.
Big debut last night for the stars. Star Wars.
Melody Hobson, shocked to learn how racist George Lucas is.
Really? Is this the end of their marriage now?
Well, Melissa Harris Perry, as you heard a little bit at the top, Melissa Harris Perry.
I got her right here, yeah.
This is Melissa Harris Perry yesterday.
Please explain yourself, please.
Well, first of all, Melissa Harris Perry, you have to explain who she is because nobody watches MSNBC. She's apparently a host of some show on MSNBC. I only know her for not having paid taxes like most other MSNBC hosts. So
Oh, she's one of those.
she and her husband need to pay their taxes, but you won't see her dressing up like Princess Leia, and you certainly won't see her dressed up like Darth Vader.
I know why I have feelings, good, bad, and otherwise, about Star Wars, and I have a lot. I spent the whole day talking about the whole Darth Vader situation. But
Really?
Oh.
You could?
Yeah, like the part where he was totally a black guy whose name basically was James Earl Jones,
Right.
and we were, and but while he was black, he was terrible and bad and awful, and used to cut off white men's hands and didn't, actually claim his son. But as soon as he claims his son and goes over to the good, he takes off his mask and he is white. Oh yes, I have many, many feelings about that, but I will try to put them over here.
She wasn't kidding, though. That's the only thing that's troubling about that. I mean, honestly, could she
at first,
be more stupid?
No, she couldn't be. I mean, this is Hollywood, folks. This is a character. This is Darth Vader. We've grown up with Darth Vader from the first Star Wars movie back in the late 70s.
The stormtroopers are white.
They are. You know what? Thanks for pointing that out.
They're bad.
They are.
What
this about
also in the Star Wars, just in the Star Wars story, this is the story of the week. It's projected to gross $2 billion.
Wow.
How about it? George Lucas warning fans not to spark terror alerts with their lightsabers.
Okay. I have my lightsaber. Hey, why don't we bring in our lightsaber swords tomorrow and have a little fight?
Keep your lightsabers and blasters holstered in order not to cause alarm following the Paris terror attack. So once upon a time, if you were a nerd, you could line up for a Star Wars movie with impunity. You didn't have to worry about sparking a terrorist attack. You didn't have to worry about zero tolerance policies at your local theater. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, well, because of the Aurora, Colorado shooting, I know that certain theaters are not allowing people to wear costumes, Star Wars costumes, into the screenings.
I'll tell you,
It's true.
Nerds always
Yeah.
get the worst of it.
They do. I mean, how do you people survive?
By the way,
did I just say you people?
Did you ever see Triumph the Insult comedy dog at the Star Wars premiere?
I did. That was a law. Yes. Back in the, wasn't it 2001?
We'll have to dig up a snippet of that.
That was awesome.
fantastic.
Because I had to actually hang out with Star Wars geeks overnight for a story I was doing on Channel 5. I had to
in
camp out with them.
1977?
No, later on in when they, they've had how many movies since then? In 2000, or I think it was 2001.
They've had how many movies since then? Seriously?
3. I'm not the big.
3?
No, 6. This is the 7th one.
Are you asking or are you
I'm
telling
asking.
me?
I'm asking.
Uh-huh.
Well, help me out.
No. Nope.
I've been rearing children for the past decade. I've not been able to watch Star Wars. I watched such shows as Little People and Minions and every animated film you can think of.
If you want to expose yourself as an America hater, you go right ahead and do that. I am not going to participate in that.
I'm just saying that I had to camp out with people overnight on the sidewalk so that they could see Star Wars. Oh, my gosh. They could sit in the front row. Who wants to sit in the front row anyway? It hurts your neck. But anyway, I learned a lot from them. They're diehard fans, and I don't think they're going to... Oh, wait. Something's coming.
Put that away. You probably got us all put on the no-fly list, David Stripling.
These people are very dedicated to their cause, and they like to wear costumes into the Star Wars movies. And they can't do that. Well, there's R2-D2. Remember him?
Yeah.
Did you have any action figures, Star Wars action figures?
I collected the action figures.
How many? I mean, did you?
I had a couple of cases full of the action figures.
Mm-hmm. Did you have Princess Leia?
Did I? I like this too. The fans that are camping out, like at the at Grauman's Chinese Theater, they're calling the 7th installment here is The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I said 7th installment. I think I said the 7th installment, The Force Awakens.
They're calling themselves The Line Awakens.
Oh.
See how funny nerds are?
Yeah. You know who's really nerdy about Star Wars? Bill Leff. He has 3,000. You know who Bill Leff is.
Who is that?
Bill Leff.
Is he co-host with Melissa Harris Perry on MSNBC?
No, he's on another station.
Oh.
Down the dial. Afternoons.
These people you talk about, and nobody knows who
He
they are.
has close to 4,000 Star Wars figurines in his house. And as a grown man, his wife, God bless her, allowed him to have a room just filled from floor to ceiling with little action figures from Star Wars.
Use the Force, Luke. Maybe tonight for the debate.
Yes.
Which, by the way, airs right here on
yes.
AM 560 The Answer, starting at 5:30.
Yes, we're going to have the undercard and then the regular debate. Again, 5:30 right here, AM 560.
And so I wonder if tonight maybe all the candidates would dress up as their favorite Star Wars character. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, that would be cute. Wouldn't it be cute to see Trump as Yoda?
Yeah. That's the worst Yoda impersonation I've ever heard, by the way. Yoda doesn't do that. Yoda doesn't do. What is that? What are you talking about?
I can't even fake it. I just can't.
Maybe, and Rom could attend as an Ewok.
Oh, hey.
For me to poop on.
There he is.
Triumph.
I haven't heard of Triumph in a long time.
Love Triumph. Well, yeah, he still hangs out with Conan O'Brien occasionally. He makes guest appearances.
On what?
TBS.
Conan still is on the air?
Yes.
Oh, I had no idea.
He took George Lopez's place.
Is he on with
Guys,
Melissa
you're
Harris
so
Perry?
out of it. No,
George
he's
Lopez
not.
had a show?
Yes. And he
Boy.
was replaced by Conan O'Brien.
We should have a show.
If they have a
George
show.
Lopez has a show on TBS and the Magic Hour. I mean, where's our deal?
Yeah.
So in advance of tonight's debate, worth noting that poll out yesterday, Monmouth University poll has Trump at 41%. Now there's some question. What? Who
Questions?
you?
No.
Who you doing? Who you
No,
impersonating
I'm
now?
sticking up for Donald Trump.
No, there's some questions about that poll. It's
Well, it was the first poll taken after he made the statement that he wants to ban Muslims from coming to this country.
No, it's the methodology I'm talking about. The methodology of the poll is a little bit suspect. It's not really likely voters. It's
Is it
just
registered voters?
registered voters who self-identify as Republican, lean independent. You know, look, he's somewhere in the neighborhood, maybe of 26 to 35. He's leading the national polls. He's not leading Iowa. Even the Monmouth poll has Cruz up 5. So it's pretty clear that Cruz has established himself as the front runner in Iowa. Rubio's closing in New Hampshire. Who did we talk to yesterday that suggested, was it Tim Carney from Washington Examiner? I think Tim Carney from Washington Examiner said Rubio was up in one New Hampshire poll when you went to likely Republican primary voters in New Hampshire. So it's tightening in those early states. Now, again, Trump is still a force to be reckoned with. I'm not diminishing it, but I don't think you should get too hysterical about him clearing the 40% threshold. Although it was a jarring headline. I could see the point.
And he was excited, and of course he tweeted about it, saying, I told you so. I'm still number one.
You know who I think?
And the other poll, he's 28 to 27. I mean, basically, he and Ted Cruz are neck and neck.
You know who I
Iowa.
think put him up into perhaps the 40s, up into that stratosphere in such a crowded field? Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker?
Seriously?
Seriously, Herschel Walker. Look, we can't build a wall and not let people in the country, but we do have to get this country safe. We have to quit being politically correct. We have to do what's right to save America. I guarantee you Trump would do better than a lot of people in office now. That I can tell you for a fact. Herschel Walker, Heisman Trophy winner. How many Heisman Trophy winners does your candidate have backing them, Amy Jacobson? Herschel Walker backing Donald Trump for president,
Wow.
as is Dana White.
Really?
The founder of UFC. UFC, not
UFC.
UFC. Right, yeah. Trump also says, as you would expect, as to the question of his health.
Oh, I love this one.
Campaign released a
I wanted to play doctor today, Dan.
Oh, boy.
And released to you his one-page medical update, which he said he was going to have full disclosure, which I thought we'd get pages of, what his cholesterol level is, what if his blood sugar level's all right. And no, it was nothing of the sort. There was nothing scientific about that letter. In fact, I think Donald Trump wrote it himself.
Harold Bornstein is his physician, and apparently Trumpism is contagious because he engages in the kind of hyperbole, superlatives you get from Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's true Trump form.
Bornstein wrote Trump's laboratory results.
Yeah.
Astonishingly excellent.
Mm-hmm. And his physical strength and stamina is extraordinary.
That's what Melania says.
And And if elected, he'll be the healthiest person ever elected to the presidency. I mean, it was so salacious and just strange. But that's Donald Trump.
That's everybody around Trump has to do. Has to engage in the Trump over the top superlatives. It's kind of entertaining, actually, which is that's Trump's value proposition.
How's his blood pressure, though? I mean, somebody is so excitable. I didn't mention that. Didn't mention any former lesions or anything that was removed.
What are you talking
from
about?
His face.
Lesions?
Skin
What?
lesions.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're kind of missing the forest for the twig here. The point is his doctor, who I don't even believe is a real doctor. I think it's like Dr. Nick Riviera wrote this.
Did you see a picture of the doctor? He kind of looks like Donald Trump's second cousin. He's got the hair. He's got the clothes.
Doctor.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Some warm weather coming our way, but first we're going to get through today. Considerable cloudiness, mild, a high of 44. The average temperature this time of year is 37. And then tomorrow back into the 50s we go. A morning shower or two, otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy, and a high of 53. Travel times, let's get them from Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Well, right now, things are looking great. Most of the expressways and tollways have no delays at all. The Edens, 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy, a delay-free 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound the same. The Eisenhower and the Stevenson are still good. The ramp from the inbound Stevenson to the inbound Ryan is a little heavy. We do now see a little heavy traffic on the inbound Ryan approaching downtown. And the Bishop Ford has a 5-minute delay from 115th to the merge. Tollway's good. No delays to report on I-80 or in Northwest Indiana. I'm Jim Talamonte, the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Upstream? Stand by.
You've heard me talking about the new website, upstream-ideas.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, you're missing thoughtful expository content you won't find anywhere else from those who've operated in the political and policy arenas. Each week, you can watch the latest episode of Against the Current. This week, featuring Congressman Peter Roskam. That's our long-form interview series with policymakers and opinion leaders. You can also watch Illinois by the Numbers, our video series that breaks down Illinois one number at a time to explain what the policy challenges are, why we have them, and what we can do about them. And you can check out highlights from each Sunday's Illinois Rising program, which tackles state and local politics and policy with deep thinkers from the Illinois Policy Institute and Illinois Opportunity Project. At Upstream Ideas, questions are asked that don't get asked anywhere else. Points of view are heard that are not heard anywhere else. No sacred cows, no punches pulled. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
I'm amazed. I want to say thank you to Balance of Nature. You guys are awesome. God bless you. The reason I have so much enthusiasm is because I speak as a person who has investigated the things that are out there. What I see is that there's many, many people telling the same story, and it's ruining it for the people who really are true. Up until this point, I had a lot of doubt whether I have an instinct that there should be something you can spend some money on and get something good, and I hadn't found it, and I believe I have found it this time. So, again, awesome, and thank you.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hey, if your company manufactures or markets pharmaceuticals, biologics, medical devices, or APIs, you know the challenges of systems integration, FDA compliance, and staffing. To gain access to Chicagoland's top life sciences engineering, quality assurance, project management, regulatory, software, and validation professionals, you need the experts at Automated Systems, Inc. All of ASI's resources are degreed professionals with decades of industry experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For over a quarter of a century, ASI has excelled through a culture of execution and client success. For information about staffing or a no-obligation compliance or automation evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems toll-free at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
AM 560, The Answer.
City sidewalks, busy sidewalks.
'Tis the season for Spreading holiday cheer and giving to those less fortunate. And we here at AM 560, The Answer, have teamed up again with Feed the Children. We've been together for 7 consecutive years now. And why we like Feed the Children is because what's raised here stays here. And what Feed the Children does is they deliver food to certain food pantries in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs, and also to shelters. And we're asking this holiday season for a one-time donation of $76 that will help feed 16 hungry children this holiday season. And with that comes a 25-pound box of food.
What's in the box?
That's filled with non-perishable items like canned goods, peanut butter, pasta, cereal, everything you need. But they also, as a bonus, get a 10-pound box of essential sundry items such as toiletries, toothpaste, cleaning supplies, makeup. And hunger really is a problem, and needy families come from all walks of life. We have to remember that all it takes is a job loss, a health concern, or some other unforeseen change to put a previously affluent family in deep need. So if you'd like to make a donation, please call this number, 866-435-2248. That's 866-435-2248. Operators are standing by. It just takes a few minutes to help so many.
We have more business benefactors.
Do we sound like an Oprah show?
Yeah, exactly.
I could scream louder. But
Do you want to be a business benefactor? Like, for example, Permaseal or Flex Execs Management Solutions or A1 Airport Limousine Service or Dr. John Chavez or Automated Systems Incorporated?
You be the diamond, I'll be the silk. Go on.
Any business that makes a $2,500 tax deductible donation to Feed the Children, as these businesses did, baby girl, will receive 40 60-second commercials that run Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m.
You're wrong.
On 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. And that's not wrong.
No, I said you're on. You got it. I'm trying really hard to be silk.
You're so street. Those 40 60-second commercials run Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on these airwaves. All you do to participate in the Business Benefactor Program, like so many of these generous businesses, some of which I named, there are many, many others. Call sales manager Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527, 847-871-1527, or you can just text the word FEED to our turnkey.pro text line 64636.
Yes, and again, Michael Mann standing by. Do it sooner rather than later because we only have a few slots left. Michael Mann, call him now, 847-871-1527, and we thank you in advance for your generosity.
Open your latches. 1, 2, 3. You get a car! 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 You get a car!
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Imagine what you would do if your business had a surplus of utility savings. More than 30% of your building's annual energy use comes from your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical service provider, understands that you have better things to do with your money. There are new energy incentives offered by Chicagoland's largest utility provider that could help your business save hundreds, even thousands of dollars every month in utility costs. As a preferred partner, Air Comfort works closely with your business. They will identify the opportunities to reduce energy usage, select, purchase, and install equipment, and even help you complete and submit your incentive paperwork. Start saving on your utilities by calling now for your free consultation at 708-345-1900. That's 708-345-1900 or online at aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
Nice. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what happens when President Obama visits a country?
What, Dan?
That country gets better. That's what I learned from President Obama's interview with Yahoo News. We'll have it at 5:35.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Good Tuesday morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have 42 degrees this morning. The main event in Las Vegas tonight, the 5th Republican presidential debate. Texas Senator Ted Cruz comes in with a burst of momentum, a robust campaign infrastructure, and a target on his back as he challenges Donald Trump for the lead in Iowa. You can hear both the undercard and main stage debate here on AM 560. It begins at 5:30 And Joe Walsh will have the half-hour entire show preview beginning at 5. Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has chosen Minnesota to unveil her plans to strengthen the nation's defenses against terrorism. Clinton is expected to announce her proposal at the University of Minnesota today. Saudi Arabia and 33 other nations are forming an Islamic military alliance to fight terrorism. The joint operation will be based in Saudi Arabia's capital. Pakistan, Turkey, and Egypt are some of the countries taking part. Capitol Hill lawmakers are working on legislation ensuring a person's online presence is reviewed as part of the process for obtaining a visa to enter the United States. House Speaker Paul Ryan plans to today publicly release agreements he says have been brokered on a $1.1 trillion government-wide spending bill that would stave off a shutdown and a tax package that extends dozens of breaks. The second of two Aurora cousins accused of plotting a terrorist attack has pleaded guilty. Former Illinois National Guard specialist Hassan Edmonds has admitted trying to fly to the Middle East to join ISIS and attempting to carry out an attack on an armory in Joliet where he expected to kill hundreds. A veteran Chicago firefighter died Monday morning after falling through an elevator shaft. Now the owners of that building are being accused of lacking proper permitting for construction that was taking place in that building. Two South Suburban students this morning will have a day in court after a gun was found in a locker at Bloom Trail High School. Steger police say they were notified yesterday via anonymous tip. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler had 23 in the Bulls win over Philadelphia 115-96. Blackhawks take on Colorado tonight, acquiring Rob Scuderi in a trade with the Penguins for fellow unhappy defenseman Trevor Daley. The news, a service of Unbound. What's the value of an education or self-confidence? What's it worth to know you are part of a brighter future for a child living in poverty? Help to realize a new dream this season. Look closer at unbound.org. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Republican candidates for president will debate just one more time before the end of 2015. And the only place to hear that debate on the radio in Chicago is right here on AM 560. Catch the CNN Republican debate tonight, live from Las Vegas.
That is not my policy.
Pre-debate coverage begins with Joe Walsh at 5, followed by the first round debate at 5:30 p.m. exclusively on your election headquarters in Chicago.
Man, his anger.
AM 560. The Answer.
The Chicago Wolves host Rockford Saturday at 7, part of the Illinois Lottery Cup, and Monday the 21st versus Manitoba. Saturday is T-shirt giveaway night sponsored by Hyde & Hine. For information, visit ChicagoWolves.com.
Hi, it's Dan Proft for Pastor Ed Bryant, the gun safety guy. Self and family protection is all about responsibility. Pastor Bryant helps the good people in society safely enjoy recreational shooting, along with improving their ability to protect themselves and their family responsibly. New shooters learn the fundamentals. Experienced shooters develop and enhance their skills. Above everything, everyone is taught to value safety first. I've taken a class with Pastor Bryant, and it is well worth it. Give the gift of firearm safety this holiday season. Gift certificates may be used for a variety of classes and levels, from rifle to pistol, recreation to protection. Gift certificates make a wonderful gift and are available right now. Purchase yours online at thegunsafetyguy.com. That's thegunsafetyguy.com. Family-friendly firearms instruction with NRA-certified instructor and NRA training counselor, Pastor Ed Bryant. Thegunsafetyguy.com. Purchase your gift certificate today online at thegunsafetyguy.com. That's thegunsafetyguy.com.
5:34 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We have a crash reported on I-55 southbound past Weber Road. The car and a truck involved here. The right lane is blocked. No delay. There are police officers at the scene. That's again southbound past Weber in the right lane. Northbound still looking good. No delays to report on the Edens, the Kennedy, or the Eisenhower just yet. Inbound Ryan has a 2 or 3 minute delay from 18th into downtown. Bishop Ford a 5-minute delay from 115th to the merge. Traffic is a service of the City of Chicago and Cook County. Suspicious activity can be found anywhere. Help keep our community safe. Call 855-RPR-T2S4. If you see something, say something. From the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications and the Cook County Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Cloudy today, high 44. Clouds overnight. A few more showers in spots through the overnight hours. Low 38. Currently 42 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, well, hear about it from your friends. Find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Some good news, at least from my perspective, in the Bo Bergdahl case, Amy.
Not your perspective. I think the majority of our listeners' perspective. We're all rejoicing when we heard what happened yesterday.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
It's appropriate. Bo Bergdahl was referred for trial by court-martial yesterday, and this is after a preliminary report suggested that preliminary hearing officer had recommended Bergdahl's case be moved only to a special misdemeanor level military court. That didn't happen. This is upset his defense team, so this is very, very good news that he's going to be court-martialed.
Yeah, and he's going to face charges of desertion and endangering his fellow troops, which is perfectly appropriate in this case, and it's going to send a message to other troops out there, to other possible deserters, that you can't do that and that there's, repercussions, there's consequences for your actions. And he could spend anywhere, Dan, from 30 years to life in prison.
I like the second part of that. The interesting thing about this, too, I was just thinking about this the other day with this whole Bergdahl.
Yeah.
After he gave that interview on Serial where he's, comparing himself to Jason Bourne. I was thinking about this. President Obama's case for Bo Bergdahl and for the prisoner transfer for Bo Bergdahl.
The prison swap?
5 Taliban senior-level terrorists in exchange for Bo Bergdahl. What was the argument that was made? We don't leave people behind, even a deserter. And I was thinking about that in the context of the movie about Benghazi coming out 13 hours. In the context of that email that was unearthed by Judicial Watch last week that we discussed with the Chief of Staff for the Secretary of Defense on the night of the Benghazi attack, September 11, 2012, suggesting that they were ready to scramble a rescue team for Ambassador Stevens and his men. And, of course, they were never green-lighted to do that. So we don't leave anyone behind, even somebody who has deserted his platoon, because that's just not what we do. And we're willing to go to the length of trading 5 terrorists for this deserter, Bo Bergdahl. But we weren't willing to scramble a rescue team for Ambassador Stevens and his men, for our foreign service officers and personnel in Benghazi. Doesn't that strike you as a bit of a disconnect?
Oh, yeah.
So the argument made in the Bergdahl case was not the protocol followed in the matter of Benghazi.
And with the Bergdahl case, too, I found it so strange how his parents, his dad converted to Islam. Then they cozied up to President Obama. Remember that meeting that they had on the Rose Garden, and President Obama kissed his mom and had his arm around her mom. I mean, the whole thing was just wildly inappropriate for me. That's not how you act as a president. And still to this day, Bo Bergdahl and his dad have not seen each other. For some reason, Bo Bergdahl will not see his father.
Well, he's training for his, upcoming series of action films. Jason Bourne. President Obama yesterday went to the Pentagon to talk to senior military officials about the strategy related to ISIS.
Did he know how to get there?
Wanted to find out if we have a strategy. This is what he said. He said, apparently we do have a strategy and it's going very well.
In fact, since this summer, ISIL has not had a single successful major offensive operation on the ground in either Syria or Iraq. In recent weeks, we've unleashed a new wave of strikes on their lifeline, their oil infrastructure, destroying hundreds of their tankers, trucks, wells, and refineries. And we're going to keep on hammering those. ISIL also continues to lose territory in Iraq. ISIL had already lost across Kirkuk province, and more recently, ISIL lost at Sinjar, losing a strategic highway. ISIL lost at Baji with its oil refinery. We saw the daring raid supported by our special forces, which rescued dozens of prisoners from ISIL, and in which Master Sergeant Joshua Wheeler made the ultimate sacrifice. So far, ISIL has lost about 40% of the populated areas it once controlled in Iraq.
So it's going very well. It's one might say that ISIS has been contained in Iraq and Syria. It sounds like a recitation of what he said so succinctly the day of the Paris attacks. ISIS contained in Iraq and Syria. There's so many follow-up questions to that. One is, would you suggest that ISIS is contained, Mr. President? Would you suggest that again? Number two, these tanker trucks and oil producing facilities that ISIS said, we've known where they are for a long time. Why are 18 months into the campaign, as Charles Krauthammer's made this point too, why are we just hitting the trucks and their lifeblood, their lifeline, as President Obama called it? Why are we just hitting them now? What's taking so long?
And they've known that they make $40 million a month. ISIS does on those oil fields, and they haven't taken them out. And I said too a long time ago, I don't understand why we're not hitting them financially.
Another follow-up question, Mr. President. Change the rules of engagement? What was with the stories of sorties coming back with their weapons intact, with bombs not dropped? Frequency of the air campaign, the effectiveness of the air campaign. A lot of questions, Mr. President.
Well, he didn't. He listed ISIL leaders that we've killed, said that, you're not going to hide. You can't hide it. When he got really tough during his speech, Dan, I wish I could play it for you here, but he's like, we're going to get, you're next.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like empty. Well, no, it was empty rhetoric, and there's no passion, there's no fire under his belly to attack ISIS. That's what I got from his body language.
Well, the fire is all focused on Gitmo. You got to close Gitmo. Got to close Gitmo.
Brought that up again yesterday?
President Obama said this is a kind of an extended interview he gave to Oliver Knox of Yahoo News. Covered a lot of topics. Castro, visiting Cuba, Gitmo. Let's start with Gitmo.
Well, first of all, just in terms of Guantanamo policy generally, I am absolutely persuaded, as are my top intelligence and military advisors, that Guantanamo is used as a recruitment tool for organizations like ISIS. And if we want to fight them, then we can't give them these kinds of excuses. In terms of any kind of return to the fight by people who are released by ISIL, keep in mind that between myself and the Bush administration, hundreds of people have been released. And the recidivism rate, we anticipate. We assume that there are going to be, out of 400, 500, 600 people that get released, that a handful of them are going to be embittered and still engaging in anti-U.S. activities.
Anti-U.S. activities, like what? Like a protest? Like writing nasty op-eds? Or like terrorism? Or like putting American lives at risk, Mr. President? I love these rounding errors with other people's lives. We had the same thing over the weekend with John Kerry, talking about we know who comes into this country for the most part.
For the most part, yeah. And then, of course, he invoked Bush, to plausible deniability.
Well, you can't plausibly deny Ibrahim al-Ghosi, a Guantanamo detainee transferred by the Obama administration to Sudan in July of 2012, who recently resurfaced, as we mentioned on the show previously, as the leader of al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, which is often described as the most dangerous al-Qaeda branch. Rounding error. A few of these guys are going to slip through the cracks. A few of these JVers are going to slip through the cracks. By the way, a good piece in the Weekly Standard by Stephen Hayes on topic. It turns out, in terms of the whole recruitment tool argument, Gitmo rarely appears in jihadist propaganda, whether ISIS or Al-Qaeda, and reviews of recent propaganda materials from both online videos and audio recordings, the magazines they put out that we've spoken about, found very few mentions of the facility whatsoever. The recruiting tool argument doesn't seem to hold water. But while we're on the topic of Cuba, the president had a lot to say about that. Another one of his major accomplishments, opening up Cuba to the
trade.
world.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Those all-inclusive resorts and cruises that are coming.
Is he going to visit Cuba?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's a good question.
Because Raul Castro came here a few months ago, remember?
Oh.
At the White House? That's not your Christmas card photo this year, the two of them shaking hands?
Love Raul Castro. He is, according to the president, not an ideologue. Real streak of pragmatism in Raul Castro, communist revolutionary. Fascinating. Here's the question of whether President Obama will visit Cuba. It's not important for us. It's important for Cuba, because here's what happens when the president of the United States, this president, visits another country.
I've found that a lot of times when I go on a visit, not only is there a fresh coat of paint on all the buildings along my route, but metaphorically, I think there's an interest on the part of the government to spruce things up.
So
I don't know what to say.
So, but basically, we just need him to visit some more of these repressive regimes, these closed societies, and those governments kind of move in the direction of freedom, because President Obama stopped by.
Wow, one thinks very highly of oneself.
Well, you can do that when you are the one.
Well, guess who is going to Cuba? I mean, next week, Tiny Dancer's going to Cuba. Do you think they'll paint the streets? Do you think they'll paint the walls and pave the streets for him?
That is his time with his family. We don't talk about that.
Amy.
Do you want to call Amy Rule? You want to call her right now?
I already have her cell phone number. Thanks.
It's his time with his kids. Like when they went to Vietnam and Kuala Lumpur and Madagascar, Antarctica,
Chile.
Here's President Obama on the aforesaid Raul Castro and when they may get together.
My read of him is that he's somebody who's gone through a bunch of stages. You're talking about somebody in their 80s who has been in power alongside his brother since I was born. So I don't think the man he was at 35 is the same person that he is at 85. My impression of him is somebody who is very much committed to the existing regime, who is suspicious of full democracy. This is not a liberal, but I do see in him a big streak of pragmatism.
Real pragmatists, those Castro brothers, not ideological. This is maybe why, after you've listened to all of that on Gitmo and Castro and ISIS, this is maybe why that, according to an NBC Wall Street Journal poll, only 34% of the country, and I'd love to meet somebody in this 34%, think Obama is doing a good job as it pertains to combating terrorism and mass shootings. His job approval rating down to 43% overall. Whew. Cleansing breath.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, our business benefactor list is getting longer. Who's on the list? But first, here's your forecast. Considerable cloudiness today, a high of 44 degrees. Then tonight, showers in spots near dawn. And tomorrow morning, showers or two. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy, but mild. We go back into the 50s. And then on Thursday, we drop back into the 30s. So enjoy this warm weather. Let's see if there's anything enjoyable on the roadways. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Amy, good morning. Morning, Dan. There's a house fire on the south side, 74th and Emerald, that is just east of Halstead. On the expressways, traffic is getting heavier. About Eisenhower, slow Manheim to Harlem. It's about a 3-minute delay. Outbound still good. Edens and the Kennedy clear. Down Stevenson. Got a 2 or 3 minute delay, Cicero Road to Kedzie. Southbound I-55 past Weber. There's a crash blocking the right lane. Ryan has a 5-minute delay entering downtown Bishop Ford, a 5-minute delay approaching the Ryan. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Turnkey. For a long time, Turnkey IT has been providing solutions to AM560 business owners. It's a name that you've come to know and trust. Turnkey IT takes care of your technology as a plan that fits your company's IT budget and network needs. Interested in moving some or all of your business to the cloud? Turnkey IT can migrate your network to Microsoft's Office 365. Need someone to call when you can't print, have a lost file, or need tech support? Turnkey IT's got you covered. Offsite backup? Check. On-site support? Check. Help desk support? Check. Turnkey IT staff is professional, friendly, punctual, and will solve all of your technical problems immediately and work even after normal business hours, all for a fixed monthly rate. Turnkey IT knows your network is truly the heartbeat of your company, so focus on your business and leave the technical stuff to the pros. Visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
No one ever imagines facing Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia and needing full-time care, but it happens. And deciding on the right residential care for mom or dad can be a monumental task. There is a memory care community that focuses on helping your parent or loved one with dementia light up and live life to the fullest, making them feel like family. Autumn Leaves memory care communities see past the diagnosis to the person you know, that your dad was a fantastic cook, or that your mom loved to dance. A person who deserves so much more than being just an Alzheimer's patient. Whether it's through yoga and music therapy or simply by cooking them their favorite meal, Autumn Leaves strives to stimulate their minds and bodies to respect and nurture the person you care so much about. See for yourself the difference Autumn Leaves communities can mean for your family. Autumn Leaves, dedicated solely to the unique needs of memory care patients.
Autumn Leaves has 10 locations in the Chicagoland area offering day-stay respite and assisted living programs. Call 888-662-8886 or visit autumnleaves.com.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, nothing frustrates me more than liberal hypocrisy. Take our food, for example. You know, the left claims to care about the poor and the environment, but guess what? They're waging a silent war against America's farmers that is making our food supply more costly and less sustainable. America's family farmers are producing more food using less land and fewer resources than ever before. Now, they should be cheered, but instead, radical groups are working with government bureaucrats to crack down on our farmers and limit the tools and technology that they're allowed to use. Now, the result is higher food costs for you, the American consumer, and low-income families, they're hit the hardest. Now, thankfully, someone is fighting back. Protect the Harvest is a national coalition working to defend modern American agriculture. You can check them out at protecttheharvest.com and follow them on Facebook to get the very latest news and see how you can help. Don't let radical activists control your family's food choices. Visit protecttheharvest.com today.
AM 560, The Answer.
'Tis the season for giving, and we want to thank many of our business benefactors here at AM 560, The Answer. How can you become a business benefactor? Well, you can call Michael Mann at 847-871-1527. What happens when you become a business benefactor? Well, you make a donation of $2,500. It's tax deductible, and all of the money goes to Feed the Children. That's the charity we've partnered up with for the last 7 years. And what's raised here stays here. Our goal this year is to feed 18,000 children in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. And as a way of saying thanks, we give you 40 60-second commercials that run Monday through Friday right here on this program. And really, it's a great deal. If you've ever thought about advertising on radio in the past, this is a great way to get your foot in the door and to try it out. And the list keeps getting longer and longer. Dan, would you?
Thank you for your generosity, Comet Motorsports, Permaseal, Flex Execs Management Solutions, Matthew Klugian and Sons, Inc., Dr. John Chavez, A1 Airport Limousine Service, Automated Systems, Thinking Outside the Box Law, Grandview Capital, Patient MD, Heartstrings, LifeSave.
I've got my heartstrings on. Do you?
No, I don't have. I'm not wearing it.
Oh,
today,
yeah.
but I
what
like
happened to your heartstrings yesterday, Dan?
It came apart, but then I put it back together.
Okay. Well, if you want
Just like Humpty Dumpty.
be on the good list this holiday season, call Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, more than ever, choosing a real estate agent to sell your home is one of the most important decisions you can make.
I'm Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know what it takes to sell your home.
The Wall Street Journal ranked Ed at 88th in the entire country for closed listings.
I know that there's no gimmick to selling your home, just a strategic marketing plan and the confidence needed to make your transaction successful.
Chicago Agent Magazine recognized Ed as the #1 rank in Will County.
You can hire anybody to list your house, but you'll need the local market knowledge that I have to sell it.
When Ed saw market trends change, he was ready and promptly received a RE/MAX of Northern Illinois Trendsetter Award.
Sure, it takes awards, but it also takes a lot of effort. So why would you try to sell your home with a we'll sell your house or buy it from you kind of agent? If an agent has to promise to buy your listing, then something's seriously wrong.
Call Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
You've heard me talking about the new website, upstream-ideas.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, you're missing thoughtful expository content you won't find anywhere else from those who've operated in the political and policy arenas. Each week, you can watch the latest episode of Against the Current, this week featuring Congressman Peter Roskam. That's our long-form interview series with policymakers and opinion leaders. You can also watch Illinois by the Numbers, our video series that breaks down Illinois one number at a time to explain what the policy challenges are, why we have them, and what we can do about them. And you can check out highlights from each Sunday's Illinois Rising program, which tackles state and local politics and policy, with deep thinkers from the Illinois Policy Institute and Illinois Opportunity Project. At Upstream Ideas, questions are asked that don't get asked anywhere else. Points of view are heard that are not heard anywhere else. No sacred cows, no punches pulled. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
If you or someone you know suffers from diabetes or pre-diabetes, then you know it's a vicious cycle of prescription drugs, weight gain, and decreased energy. But you don't have to live with the symptoms of the disease or the side effects from prescription drugs. Attend a free diabetes dinner seminar with functional medicine practitioner Dr. Walter Doozy. He'll show you how to get to the root of the problem causing your diabetes, not mask it with dangerous medications. You'll learn how to stabilize your blood sugar, lower your risk of high blood pressure, and improve your cholesterol. Dr. Doozy and his team have helped hundreds of patients reduce and even eliminate their need for diabetes medication. Attend the free diabetes dinner seminar Wednesday, December 16th at Restaurant Abruzzo in Deerfield. Register now at drdoozy.com. That's DRDUZEY.com, or call 847-367-4900.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
Hi, I'm Vito Parisi, president of the STM Group. We have trusted Barry with other family members. My sister-in-law Christine, my cousin Tricia have used Barry. You know, we don't watch what's going on with rates day in and day out. I'm very busy running a business, and Barry and his group is very proactive, notifying us if the market is moving. We really trust him and value his opinion, and really appreciate his nonstop work ethic.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
And the least surprising news of the year, Chicago teachers vote to strike. We'll have it at 6:06.
And later, the Vegas showdown between Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. We'll have a preview. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an Aurora man pleads guilty to a terror plot. Colleagues honor a fallen Chicago firefighter. A judge acquits a police commander of a brutality charge. Teachers vote to authorize a strike in the Chicago public schools. Nice night by Jimmy Butler, helping the Bulls rout the 76ers by 19. Cloudy day ahead, high of 44. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony with a 27-point lead in a new Monmouth poll. Donald Trump will be center stage again tonight in the race for president.
I have so many great relationships with Muslim people.
Trump's call to temporarily ban Muslims from coming to America will likely be an issue at tonight's Republican debate. So could the ongoing probe into the terrorists behind the California massacre.
The San Bernardino attack is likely to figure prominently tonight. In particular, the news that U.S. immigration authorities did not look at Malik's social media profile before issuing her a so-called K-1 visa. I spoke yesterday with the former Florida Governor Jeb Bush about that. He said as president, he would change the system.
Fox's John Roberts in Las Vegas. Secretary of State Kerry's in Moscow for talks about Syria and ISIS.
This is a threat to everybody. There is no negotiation. These are the worst of terrorists.
This says Defense Secretary Carter's in Turkey for talks, also on the battle against ISIS. The day after President Obama's trip to the Pentagon, Republicans dismissed as a photo op, still critical of his strategy. Bo Bergdahl will face court-martial and potentially life in prison. He's the Army soldier accused of deserting his post in Afghanistan when the Taliban captured him. He was freed 5 years later in a controversial swap for 5 Guantanamo prisoners. Bill Cosby, caught up in a sex scandal, fed up with some of his accusers. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has us live.
Well, the comedian is firing back with a lawsuit of his own, taking aim at 7 women who are suing him. Cosby filed suit on Monday with a countersuit filed in federal court, calling the accusations against him malicious and false. The women claim he defamed them by allowing his representatives to brand them as liars after they went public with allegations of rape and other sexual misconduct that dates back decades, Dave.
Tanya, about an hour ago, on a launch pad in Kazakhstan.
Liftoff of Tim Kopra, Yuri Malenchenko, and Timothy Peake on their way to the International Space Station.
They'll join a crew that includes American Scott Kelly, who is spending a year in space. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 42 degrees. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott with your Twin Cities news headlines. The second of 2 Aurora cousins accused of plotting a terror attack has pleaded guilty. Former Illinois National Guard Specialist Hassan Edmonds admitted to trying to fly to the Middle East to join ISIS and then attempt to carry out an attack on an armory in Joliet where he expected to kill hundreds. He and his cousin Jonas were arrested last March. A veteran Chicago firefighter died Monday after falling through an elevator shaft battling a fire at a Southside factory. Dan Capuano was a 15-year veteran of the fire department, according to Fire Commissioner Jose Santiago.
It looks like that the firefighter Daniel had just walked into the elevator shaft as he was searching, couldn't see, and fell.
Additionally, owners of that building apparently lacked proper permitting for construction underway, including the removal of the elevator. The cause of that fire remains under investigation. The Chicago Teachers Union says it's sending a message to school administrators and Mayor Rahm Emanuel with an overwhelming vote in favor of a strike. We get an update on this story from AM 560's David Stewart.
The union says 88% of eligible members voted to allow leaders to call a strike if Chicago Public Schools carry out their plans for massive budget cuts and layoffs in the spring. Union leader Jesse Sharkey.
We're not going to take it lying down that there's just these big cuts, and we're not going to treat it as a fait accompli that the only way that they can do this is cutting. Our members will not go to work if we have to.
Those cuts are being threatened by the administration if lawmakers in Springfield don't approve significant new funding for Chicago schools. David Stewart, Chicago.
An Oak Park man is expected in bond court today after he was accused of sexually assaulting an underage girl. Jeremy Lind is charged with criminal sexual assault, traveling to meet a minor, and indecent solicitation of a child. Chicago sports, NBA last night, Jimmy Butler 23, and the Bulls win over Philadelphia 115-96. The Blackhawks have acquired Rob Scuderi in a trade with the Penguins for fellow defenseman Trevor Daley ahead of tonight's clash with Colorado. The news, a service of Compassion International. There is a little boy or girl living in poverty right now. They don't have enough to eat, are sick, or can't go to school. And you can help release them from that poverty when you become a sponsor with Compassion International. Find out how at compassion.com/radio. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, Chicagoland, Dave Ramsey here. For the last 20-plus years, we've helped millions of people get their financial lives in order. And now, for the first time ever, we're bringing our Smart Money Tour to you. Financial expert Chris Hogan and I will be at Willow Creek Church on January 12th. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck or wondering what you're going to do when retirement comes around, don't miss this event. Get your seats today at DaveRamsey.com.
Sponsored in part by Executive Green Carpet Cleaning.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a .com domain name for only $2.99 for the first year. Right now at GoDaddy.com. 2-year purchase required. Second year is $14.99.
Do you have a retirement account? Is it likely to go up 60% or down 60%? Wake up. Low interest rates support the market, and it won't last forever. It's time to hedge with solid gold. You will regret not doing so in the next market crash. Do it right. Don't pay a setup and storage fee. Discover how. Call Goldworth. Request the IRA guide free. Call 800-257-GOLD. 800-257-GOLD. Visit goldworth.com.
6:06 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southside, there's a house fire, 74th and Emerald, just a block east of Halstead. Edens is clear. The Kennedy still delay-free as well. Expect that to change shortly. It's getting heavier. Inbound Eisenhower, stop and go Manheim to Harlem. 36 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson slow, Lamont Road to Cass, Cicero to Kedzie, and State to Lakeshore Drive. 40 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 5 to 34. There is a crash on southbound 55 past Weber in the right lane. The Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 21 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 420. Eastbound Adams Tollway at Roselle Road just had a crash reported. Traffic service of CNN and the Republican debate. The last Republican debates of 2015 are on CNN tonight. Will the frontrunners build on their momentum, or will someone new break out? Wolf Blitzer moderates the CNN Republican presidential debates tonight at 5 and 7:30, only on CNN. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Cloudy today, high 44. Mostly cloudy tonight with a late night shower in spots, low 39. Then a passing shower or two in the morning. Otherwise breezy with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Tomorrow, high of 52. Cloudy at night, low 30. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 40 at O'Hare, 44 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
In fact, since this summer, ISIL has not had a single successful major offensive operation on the ground in either Syria or Iraq.
Now, in the wake of the worst terror attack since 9/11, federal agents are reconstructing the online history of Malik and her husband Syed Farouk. A history that shows even before they met, they were on the road to jihad, something authorities could have known but did not, as she was welcomed to America.
You know, obviously, things went wrong.
I know why I have feelings, good, bad, and otherwise, about Star Wars, and I have a lot. I spent the whole day talking about the whole Darth Vader situation. But
really?
Oh.
You could?
Yeah, like...
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy?
Yes?
The Chicago Teachers Union had a mock vote last month where they voted 97% to authorize a strike. And then they had the real vote Wednesday through Friday of last week where they voted 97% to authorize a strike. I applaud their consistency. And the question is, all CPS wants is a $500 million bailout from the state for this fiscal year. kind of keep the lights on.
Yeah, and to keep some teachers in the classrooms and to keep certain programs, art, music.
Yeah,
afloat.
oh yeah, I can't afford art and music with only $8 billion.
I pay for art and music. So I pay for each kid $250 for each child so that they can have those.
So who wants to write the $500 million check to bail out CPS, make sure the teachers don't have to contribute any more than the 2% they're currently contributing to their pensions, make sure that all in, we continue to have CPS teachers that are about $110,000 all in on average. That doesn't even, principals, $135,000. For a system that does what? About 1 in 10 CPS freshmen in school today in a system of 400,000 kids will get a BA by the time they're 25.
1 in 10?
Yeah. And that's up a couple points from a few years ago. 1 in 10. Who wants to write the check? 312-642-5600. That's the turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA is the turnkey.pro text line, because the last thing we're going to do, the last thing we can talk about doing, the last thing Tiny Dancer will do after it got pantsed just a few years ago by Karen Lewis, signed a $300 million contract that they didn't know how to finance. So 4 years later, we're in the same place, except worse, junk-rated, junk-producing Chicago public school system, not unlike the city of Chicago and the Enronian finances undergirding the whole thing, the whole Democrat power structure. Last thing we're going to do is talk about system change. Last thing we're going to consider is changing the flow of money, where it goes and who gets to make spending decisions, because that's how you change any system.
Well, that's the problem. Who does make the spending decisions? Because I would love it if my principal made the spending decisions. You know, you're allotted a certain amount of money for each student, and I trust him to be responsible with the spending.
Do you trust yourself?
Oh, yeah.
So what about if we just invested directly in families, and you can take the money that is otherwise sent to the central authorities, and you can send Peyton and Eli wherever you want. If you want to send them to Blaine, you can send them there.
I would send them to Blaine.
Okay, so send them there. Send them wherever you want. Just like at the collegiate level, you take your Stafford loan, your Pell Grant, your GI Bill, and you can go to U of I, Illinois State, Notre Dame, Yeshiva, wherever you want to go.
Yeshiva, nice.
Well,
is it a D2?
You can go wherever you want. Shenandoah, music conservatory, wherever you want to go. What do you think about that?
Voucher system.
Sounds like the collegiate system is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Yes, but
not a laboratory experiment. We have it.
Well, the teachers that I spoke with said, because of course this is really about the pension, but the way they're playing it, I think, to a lot of the parents,
kids, it's about the kids.
No, well, yeah, but also too, they want to get paid for sick days. I mean, they want to get paid when there's snow days. Excuse me.
Sure.
They also want to get paid sick days, so you're allotted a certain amount every year, and if you don't use them, then they want that money back.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound fair? Does that sound reasonable? I'd like to have I have 120 unused sick days from my time here. That would be a nice chunk of change. I'd like that, but that's not realistic.
Maybe we should strike. The two of us. We could walk, the four of us. We get Caesar and David. And we got a little bargaining unit here.
Mike Scott too.
Mike, I don't know. Mike, he strikes me as a guy who could be a strike breaker. Got to keep our eye on that Mike Scott guy.
Yeah, he's shifty. You and I, we can make signs. We want our paid sick days.
Yeah.
And walk around the studio.
And then tomorrow there'll be a new Dan and Amy. Remember Dan and Amy? They used to work here. They don't anymore. Yeah. So I appreciate though your teacher friends that are being honest that it's about their compensation. It's not about the quality
and
of
not
education.
all of them make a lot of money, but some that have been there and then they coach, and they take part in extracurricular activities.
Sure.
They do well. But the ones that I know, they deserve the paycheck that they get.
This isn't about deserve. This is the old Milton Friedman line. Deserve. Who deserves what? We should all be lucky we don't get what we deserve. I think we should remove, which is a great line. We should remove deserve from it. Here, the question is, what can we afford, and what is responsible to attract talent and retain talent that produces outcomes that we desire? Is CPS producing outcomes we desire? No. Am I blaming the teachers? No, not in toto. There's plenty of blame to go around, and it starts with the political ruling class. But you have a lot of teachers in CPS that shouldn't be there. And you have a lot of teachers in CPS that are great teachers, that are artists, which is what a great teacher is. And the problem with the CTU is there's no distinction between the two. Between the two categories.
No, they protect their own, and that's a problem because you have principals. No principals are in the CTU. They are not union members. So when they try to get out or remove a teacher who is not performing well, they have to file a lot of paperwork a lot of paperwork to get that teacher removed from the classroom.
And you
And
understand.
they use test scores, and then, they go in and watch them
Well,
in
it's
front of their students, and they rate them.
It's not paperwork. It's taxpayer funds to get rid of them. I mean, that's what it is. It's a $300,000, $350,000 proposition to go through the protocol to try and remove a bad teacher because the teachers union, they can protest all they want that they don't protect bad teachers, but that's what they do. I mean, and partly that's their job.
Our principal got 2 teachers removed who needed to be removed.
Yeah, well, that's so here's the problem.
But we're an anomaly.
Here's the problem as well. I mean, I hate to bring this up. I mean, I hate to bring this up.
Are you going to talk about the P word again?
No, what P?
Pensions.
What? Oh, well, I mean, look, there's guaranteed 7-figure pensions. That's what they are. $75,000 average salary, and that's being conservative. So you make 80% of that. That's $60,000. $60,000 with COLA, 3% COLA that compounds annually. Mm-hmm. It's a $1.5 million pension. That's what that is.
And then how long do you have to work in the school system before you get that pension?
Well, I mean, you vest. There's vesting, and then there's maxing out. The maxing out is 25 years in. I think maybe it's 30. I think it's 25. But regardless, the point is that there's nothing like that exists in the private sector. And I understand these are the rules of the game the politicians set up. And I understand people want to maximize their earnings. I do too. I don't blame them. So this is not about kind of attacking teachers. Oh, somebody doesn't like teachers. Anybody makes that argument as a child. This is about we can't afford this system as it is currently constituted. And on some go-forward basis, we have to change the deal. That's all. And, oh, by the way, CPS, we have to change everything because it's a system that is awful at educating children. Frankly, as I've suggested before, it should be prosecuted under RICO as a criminal conspiracy to deprive children of their future because that's what it does for the overwhelming majority of the students who never even have access to the kind of school that will provide them the opportunity to earn a quality education and get on a path to success in life. That's a fact. That is a fact.
And access meaning access to solid teachers, but also, certain books, pens and paper, things because we wouldn't have anything if it wasn't not for parental donations.
Can I tell you an inconvenient fact about the quality of teachers?
Sure.
The quality of students that many of these teachers are.
Was this in your op-ed in the Chicago Tribune?
No, but this is from a study not so long ago. You know what the average ACT score for a Chicago public school teacher was?
No. 18?
19. 18 is the minimum to get into any state university in this state of Illinois.
Okay.
So we're not talking about great students. In general, there obviously are exceptions. Just point of order.
Well, some people don't do well at tests.
I understand. That's maybe why they don't like tests, including administering them. Hello. Vin in St. Charles.
The only ramifications to these teachers going on strike is on the kids. I'm surprised these teachers don't strike every year. It's not like they're ever going to lose their jobs and be replaced by people who actually want to work for a living. It's a cabal, and you all obviously know that, Dan.
Thanks.
You guys have a nice day.
They do want to work for a living, we can't paint them with a broad brush here.
I think a lot of them do, and a lot of great teachers leave CPS and leave other school systems because they can't do what they got into teaching to do, which is instill a love of learning in children. The system prevents them from doing what they want to do, prevents them from being the great teacher they could be. My indictment is not of a specific group or a specific individual. It's of a system that doesn't produce what it promises to produce and doesn't do so at exorbitant rates. Tom in Schaumburg.
2 points. I'll be brief. Front page story on the Daily Herald just last week. Teachers out here that have been retired an average of 7 years are now receiving more on pension than they ever made before while in the classroom, with pensions ranging $102,000 to $106,000 a year. Secondly, I've been told it costs about $15,000 per year per student in Chicago.
That's the spending per pupil. Yes.
Okay, and they can't manage that money. You need to start outsourcing the work. A school like Lane Tech, where you have 5,000 students, that's $75 million a year. You need to find some people that know how to do education, to buy up that school and start doing it for a fraction of what we're currently paying, and put an end to all of these union pig teachers.
Well, that's a top. Lane Tech is one of the top 10 high schools in the state of Illinois. Not in the city, but in the state. So I wouldn't touch Lane Tech.
Yeah,
and you're lucky if your kids get into Lane Tech.
Yeah, these are the exceptions. This is the problem. So I understand that, let's say 50,000 of the kids in Chicago get to go to a good school.
Yeah. And
what about the other 350?
They move to the suburbs. And if not, then they have to go to low-performing high schools. And that's what is wrong with the city of Chicago. Our neighborhood school, right now, at this point in time, I cannot, with good conscience, send my kids to that school. So if they don't get into one of the top 5, then we're going to have to move to the suburbs. I've told my kids that several times. So they're getting straight A's, Dan, Eli, and Peyton.
I know. I've seen the cards.
They know. Yeah. One was in Spanish. One was in English. But, yeah, you saw them.
Mike on the north side.
Hi, I wanted to talk about President Obama, but I'll switch to the schools. First off, schools wrong. The purpose of the Chicago Public Schools is to provide financial opportunities for friends of the fifth floor. It's not to educate your kids. Second of all, if they're having a money problem, all these magnet schools and all these college prep schools that everyone wants to get in, why don't they start charging tuition for them? Pay to play.
All right. Thanks
well, you
for the
do
call,
have
Mike.
student fees, and they're high.
Or you donate
in those top 5 schools, or you donate to
the foundation.
Yeah.
Just quickly, so the schools, that's one institution that is disintegrating in Chicago. The other, as we know, is police under the rule of Tiny Dancer. Yesterday, U.S. District Court Judge Matthew Kennelly found the officers involved in the Philip Coleman case. This is the individual who was repeatedly tased, dragged out of a cell unconscious, died on the way to the hospital, reaction to antipsychotic drug. He had a mental mental breakdown. This is a civil case. The judge made the determination that officers used excessive force and left damages to be determined by the jury.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, some thick cloud coverage, actually, throughout the day. A high of 44 degrees. Average temperature this time of year. Dan, were you listening? What's the average?
96.
No, it is 37. Then tonight, we have a shower in spots. Tomorrow, morning showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy and warm. Back up into the 50s we go. A high of 53. Let's get the travel times. Here's the one and only Jim Telemonte.
Well, thank you, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Eden's inbounds, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. It's delay-free for now. Inbound Kennedy, got a 3-minute delay from River Road Toll to Foster. Outbound a little heavy around Sayre. Inbound Eisenhower, slow Manheim to Harlem, 35 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 31. Stevenson is 42 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound still okay. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both running about 21 minutes from I-80 to the merge. Eastbound Adams Tollway at Stop and Go, Roselle to Meacham, and Bussey to Lee. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Hey, Dan Proft here. Guys, the holidays are now upon us. Do you want the gift that keeps on giving? Of course you do. How about giving yourself a healthier life and more energy to do the things you want to do with family and friends? If you've been feeling like a grumpy old man lately, it's time to get your testosterone level checked at Low T Center. I did. It's quick, easy, and with their on-site lab, you'll know your results in minutes. Plus, their services are covered by most health insurance. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy and can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. Low T Center even has convenient and flexible hours, so give yourself the gift that keeps on giving this December. Call Low T Center now and tell them Dan Proft sent you. Call today, 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305, or go online to lowtcenter.com.
The holidays are just around the corner, and you want your home to feel warm and inviting so that you can create a memorable experience. Before you start decorating for the season, call Executive Green Carpet Cleaning at 708-599-5151. There's still time to have your carpet, upholstery, tile, and grout cleaned before those special dinner guests arrive. Executive Green Carpet Cleaning's process is safe for your entire family. They use their own purified water and a non-toxic solution that leaves no residue, so you can rest assured assured you'll have a clean carpet when the kids and grandkids exchange their gifts. Want one of the best gifts this holiday season? It's Executive Green's no-risk guarantee. If you are not 100% satisfied, you will not pay for your service. Make your home beautiful for the holidays by scheduling now at 708-599-5151. Ask about their holiday special. 3 rooms for $139. 708-599-5151 or schedule online at executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
Too high. Your property taxes are too high. Illinois has the second highest property tax rate in the country, a burden that unfairly penalizes people like you. Why does Illinois have the second highest property tax rate in the country? Because elected officials spend too much money. Year after year, lawmakers promise to freeze the property tax rate. They make false promises at election time and fail to get the job done. The result? Property tax rates go up and up. It's time to force the politicians to keep their promise to voters. Join Americans for Prosperity in the fight to freeze property taxes. Go to afpil.org to start a tax freeze petition in your community. Go to afpil.org to put the brakes on runaway property taxes. If you're sick and tired of ever increasing property taxes, do something about it. Go to afpil.org, paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
AM 560, The Answer.
Not the naughty list, but the nice list keeps getting longer and longer. Of course, I'm talking about our business benefactors, Heil and Heil Insurance, Viking Ski Shop. I love that place. Blue Peak Premium Tent and Event Rental. The list goes on and on. A1 Airport Limousine Service, Dr. John Chavez. Matthew, what's that pronunciation? Dan, help me. Page 2, down below.
Matthew Clusian and Sons.
Perfect. It's beautiful. Flex Execs Management Solution. They're all business benefactors. And you could be one too, and time is running out. What you get by being a business benefactor, well, here's the deal. Businesses that make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation, all of the money will go to our charity, Feed the Children. And as a way of saying thank you, we will give you 40 60-second commercials that run Monday through Friday right here on AM 560. If you've thought about advertising, but we're on the fence, this is a great program for you. And to become a part of the business benefactor list, call Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. Call him, too, if you have any questions. You're still thinking about it. You're not sure. He will convince you. Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. He's a great guy, and he's waiting for your phone call. So time is running out. Slots are filling up quickly, and you'll want to be an advertiser on the station in 2016. Why? Because everyone's going to be talking about the election, and we're the only station in town talking politics all day, every day. What else can I do to convince him, Dan?
Well, we're waiting. Call Michael Mann, 847-871-1527.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
When I started on this, I stopped my blood pressure and my cholesterol medicine. My blood pressure after a week since then has been normal, and my bad cholesterol dropped 27 points in 3 weeks, and my overall cholesterol dropped like 25 points. So I'm good. So I'm not taking anything.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
This Christmas, give the people on your list the gift of holiday happiness. Rich, chocolatey brownies from Vermont Brownie Company. Featuring decadent flavors like dark chocolate with a touch of sea salt, buttery maple toffee, and walnut chunk. They're ridiculously good. Surprise and delight your loved ones with some of the best brownies they'll ever taste. They're baked using farm-fresh ingredients. That's pure bliss in every bite. To order and save 10%, use code 2000. Your gift comes specially packaged with a free personalized gift card. So what are you waiting for? to give a sweet gift for under $20. Use promo code 2000 at checkout and VermontBrownieCompany.com. Let's try that again. That's VermontBrownie.com. That code 2000 to save 10% at VermontBrownie.com. Christmas delivery guaranteed. Hurry, because this offer ends soon.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
On Blitzer, well, as in Wolf Blitzer is moderating tonight's debate. Cruz versus Trump, slugfest or pillow fight? We'll take your calls through on 264-250-600 after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Clouds and 42 degrees at this hour, 6:30 on AM 560. The Answer, the main event in Las Vegas tonight, and right here on AM 560 beginning at 5:30 as the 5th Republican presidential debate gets underway. Texas Senator Ted Cruz comes in with a burst of momentum and a target on his back as he challenges Donald Trump for the lead in Iowa. The Republican frontrunner held a rally in Las Vegas last night ahead of the presidential debate. And Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has chosen Minnesota to unveil her plans to strengthen the nation's defenses against terrorism. Clinton is expected to announce her proposal today at the University of Minnesota. A Baltimore jury resumes deliberations later today in the manslaughter trial of William Porter. The panel is trying to decide whether Porter was criminally responsible for the death of Freddie Gray, who suffered a fatal spinal injury riding in a police van. The healthcare.gov open enrollment deadline for coverage beginning the first of the year is today.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect
Kevin
union,
Callahan
establish
says there's
justice, ensure
financial
domestic
assistance available to help pay for
provide for the common
monthly
defense.
premiums.
The
About 8 out of
Constitution
10
defends
are
America.
eligible
It
for
guarantees our
financial
rights.
assistance.
Presidents swears to preserve, protect,
Baseball's
and defend
all-time hit king
Congress
Pete
shall
Rose
make no law
will not
respecting
be
an
reinstated
establishment of
by Major
religion
League Baseball.
or prohibiting the
Commissioner
free
Rob Manfred
exercise
issued
thereof.
his ruling yesterday, and
Donald J. Trump is
Cincinnati
calling
Enquirer
for a
reporter
total
Paul
and
Gordy
complete
says
shutdown
he's not sure Rose
of
was
Muslims
ever
entering the United
given a
States.
fair shake.
Or abridging the freedom of the speech or of the press.
The Des Moines Register said yesterday that all of its journalists have been barred from attending this event today.
The right of the people to be secure in their
Manfred issued a statement
persons,
saying there's no
houses,
convincing
papers, and
evidence Rose
effects
is reformed.
against
The fact that
unreasonable
he still
searches and
legally
seizures
bets
shall
on
not be
baseball
violated.
poses two The second of two Aurora cousins
I will
accused of
faithfully
plotting a
execute
terror
the
attack
office
has
of
pleaded
President
guilty.
of the
Former
United States.
National Guard Specialist Hassan Edmonds admitted to trying to fly to the Middle East to join ISIS and attempting to carry out an attack at an armory in Joliet where he wanted to kill hundreds. A Chicago police commander accused of trying to force a gun down a suspect's throat stands acquitted. Cook County Judge Diane Cannon ruled in Glenn Evans' favor yesterday in spite of DNA evidence from the victim found on his weapon. And just in time for the last days of the Christmas shopping season, the CTA's new express bus service will begin next week. Beginning Sunday, LoopLink buses will travel in new bus-only lanes between the West Loop and Michigan Avenue on Madison, Washington, Clinton, and Canal. Chicago sports, Bulls over Philadelphia 115-96. The Blackhawks take on Colorado later tonight. And the news, a service of Compassion International. There's a little boy or girl living in poverty right now. They don't have enough to eat, they're sick, they can't go to school. And you can release them from poverty when you become a sponsor with Compassion International. Find out how at compassion.com/radio. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher isn't so sure the president's strategy in ISIS will work.
Isn't it reasonable that if somebody's on the no-fly list, they shouldn't be allowed to buy a gun? That's the kind of stuff that's going to defeat ISIS, isn't it? Now, that's what I call prioritizing. Holy cow. Lord help us.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Exergen temporal scanner thermometer is a must-have for all busy parents. With just one scan to the forehead, Exergen temporal scanner thermometer takes your child's temperature quickly and accurately. Available at Walgreens.
Hey, if you need to sell your home in Chicagoland, Sean Hannity here with some very important facts that you need to know. Now, 40% of homes hitting the market in Chicago are not selling. Now, those are horrible odds. You need to call Saul Z and the Z team based right here in Chicagoland. Now, Saul sells a home on average every 24 hours and attracts hundreds of buyers every month locally, nationally, and internationally. The Wall Street Journal ranks Saul's team in the top 110 teams out of 1.2 million agents in the U.S. Now, Saul Z guarantees to sell your home in 29 days at a price and deadline that you agree to, or he will buy your home or he'll sell it for free. Plus, working with Saul is also risk-free. After 24 hours, if he's not doing his job, you can walk away free and clear. Just call the agent I would call if I needed to sell my home and lived in Chicagoland. Call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666. Or go online at callsaul.net. That's callsaul.net.
6:35. RadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the very latest this morning with Jim Talamonte.
Like the inbound Edens Expressway is jammed from before Dempster to Cicero. There's a crash there. The left lane is blocked. We have reports that there are as many as 7 cars involved. It's 46 minutes Lake Cook and Montrose. That number has been rising quickly. Outbound, there's a Gapers delay. 22 minutes Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound Kennedy slow. The River Road Toll to Foster. 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 31. Eisenhower running 38 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 31. Stevenson 43 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 Bishop Ford both 21 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Northbound Tri-State slow Harlem to LaGrange Road from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to 290. Traffic is a service of CNN and the Republican debate. The last Republican debates of 2015 are on CNN tonight. Will the frontrunners build on their momentum or will someone new break out? Wolf Blitzer moderates the CNN Republican presidential debates tonight at 5 and 7:30, only on CNN. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Considerable clouds today, high 44. Some spotty showers overnight, low 38. 40 at O'Hare, 44 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560 The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the debates tonight is being moderated by Wolf Blitzer, who sucks, but
oh my Dan,
should be what?
A little aggressive.
I'm just what?
You don't say the S word.
You can't say that?
He's not polished or refined, and he's a hot mess. Yes, Wolf Blitzer.
That's what I said. He sucks. But I don't. So that's tonight, and you can hear it starting at 5:30 on these airwaves. The only place you can hear it on the radio. Starting at 5:30, so we'll have both debate. The first debate featuring Mike Huckabee and Rick Santorum.
Starting in small forward, Lindsey Graham.
From Queens, George Pataki. Actually, I don't know if he's from Queens.
And from Pennsylvania, 6'1", Rick Santorum.
Yeah. And then, of course, the main stage.
With 8 candidates.
9.
Yeah, 9. Is it 9?
Yeah.
Oh, you're better at that math than I am. But Donald Trump's going to be in the middle.
Rand Paul will be there.
Okay.
Haven't cut him loose yet.
Yes.
So the
Jeb
question
will be in the middle with Ted Cruz standing right next to him.
So the question is this going to be? This is in Vegas, so I'm going to use a boxing metaphor.
Of course.
And
the showdown one, is that it?
No.
All right.
No,
Something better?
Yes. Much
of course,
better.
because it's coming from Dan, so it's better.
Thank you. And you know.
Yes, I know.
That I despise when politicians or pundits or radio talk show hosts use sports metaphors to discuss politics, except when I use them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the question is, will this be a slugfest like the Arturo Gotti, Mickey Ward trilogy? or is this going to be a pillow fight like Mayweather-De La Hoya? I think it's going to be a pillow fight.
312-642-5600 is our number. Why do you think it's going to be a My Pillow fight?
Oh.
Hey-oh.
Well, there would be some good sleeping
Well,
being
'cause
done if it was a My Pillow
They're
fight.
washable too, so if if it gets bloody or nasty, they can stick in the washer and dryer.
Made in America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's why I think so. How did Ted Cruz get here? How did Ted Cruz get to this place? He got to this place by addressing the very legitimate concerns and exasperation that is felt by Trump supporters without attacking Trump, without attacking his supporters. So why would he change course now and take any bait that Donald Trump may offer up to him? I don't think he's going to take the bait. And the other thing, frankly, is that Trump hasn't really gone after anybody preemptively. I mean, to what he said from the outset of these debates, I'll respond if I'm attacked. That's kind of what he's done.
Well, he did make the maniac comment, from Sunday's talk shows.
The way he's dealt with the Senate, where he goes in there like frankly, like a little bit of a maniac. You can't walk into the Senate and scream and call people liars and not be able to cajole and get along with people.
Yeah, but remember, that was in response to Cruz being overheard saying that he questions Trump's judgment.
Yeah, but
and when Trump responds, it's not going to be a proportional response. It's going to be an over-the-top response. So you got the maniac, he's not qualified to be president, and all the rest.
But Ted Cruz did the most brilliant thing yesterday and sent him via Twitter a clip of Maniac, the scene from Flashdance when she's dancing like a maniac. That's cool. That is the perfect way.
Well, that's what I mean.
To respond. I know. That's why But
so that's not going to be. That's not a slugfest. That's enjoying the moment.
He's enjoying it, and he's not hitting him hard back.
And Cruz this is really his format and forum debates. He's very, very good. Dershowitz said he's the best law student he's ever had, and he was an expert debater at Princeton and Harvard.
Yeah, he won both.
I mean, this is
both
a guy
debate competitions.
He knows what he's doing. So if Trump gets hot, he's going to be cool, and he's going to be cool generally. I haven't really seen, despite all of the descriptions of Ted Cruz by the old media and by the establishment Republicans, so he's a bomb thrower and he's a maniac,
radical.
Have you seen Ted Cruz lose his cool? I can't recall a time. I mean, yeah, he said Mitch McConnell was a liar because Mitch McConnell lied to him, but he said it matter of fact.
Yeah, there's no hyperboles.
I mean, so the whole Ted Cruz bomb thrower thing, it doesn't fit how he actually performs, his actual demeanor.
And Ted Cruz has been brilliant by cozying up to Donald Trump. For certain events, Ted Cruz was there. And this is why he's had a strong relation. He explained it to Jonathan Karl from ABC News.
Look, it's not complicated. Number one, I like Donald. Yeah. But number two, everywhere Donald goes, he brings 100 television cameras with him.
Yeah, smart.
And he's smart. That's great. And so he goes on stage with him and holds events with him.
So Cruz was with Trump on the White House, or not the White House lawn, but outside the White House in D.C., on the mall, I should say. That Tea Party rally against the Iran nuclear deal. Remember that? Wasn't that long ago. I tend to think you may see more sniping between Cruz and Rubio than you will between Trump and Cruz. I think this is going to be disappointing for those, and you see this across left and right.
Oh, yeah,
the showdown and the slugfest, Cruz, Trump. I mean, they're promoting it like they're Don King and Bob Arum. Mike and McHenry on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, you put on a terrific show. I wanted to say that I believe it's going to be a slugfest, and it's going to be like when Tyson bit off the ear of his opponent.
You think an ear is going to go tonight? You think somebody's going to lose an ear tonight?
It could be worse.
Whose ear is going to be lost?
Not going to be Trump.
No, there we go. Trump guy. All right, thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it.
But, I mean, Ted Cruz knows the intellectual level of the man he is dealing with, and he's not going to let his poll numbers fall by biting the head off of Donald Trump for really no reason. I mean, be the steady, slow horse that's going to win the race with consistency. He'll do it. And Donald Trump, this could be, I don't know, I think white noise. Ben Carson's not. Who's Ben Carson? Carly Fiorina.
He's the doctor.
Yeah. Oh, he's the doctor in case.
Gifted
yes.
hands.
But
That's
I'm
what Ben
just.
Carson
I don't
is.
think this is supposed. Tonight's debate is supposed to be about national security, and I mean,
You know what
I'm glad Ben Carson's up there, but I don't think he's going to fare well.
You know what else is more likely to happen, I think, than Cruz and Trump throwing haymakers at each other. This latest survey out, this Monmouth University survey that puts Trump at 41%, nearly 3 times Ted Cruz in second place. That's national polls. Obviously, Iowa and New Hampshire much closer, with Ted Cruz actually leading in Iowa the last 3 or 4 polls that have been taken, including the Des Moines Register poll that adds Cruz up 10. He's going to win Iowa. He's going to win Iowa going away. I've said it before. I'll say it again here. But the interesting thing will be, so you've got Cruz, you've got Rubio, you've got Trump, and you got 6 other people on that stage trying to find a 4th lane. So will the irascible John Kasich go after Trump? And will there be fireworks again between Kasich and Trump?
Or what about Rand Paul and Donald Trump? That's possible.
Chris Christie, he's trying to make a play in New Hampshire. He's got to get in this conversation somehow. Will there be and he's a bit, pugilistic. Will there be
pugilistic? I love that.
Yeah, it's a fun
I'm
word.
going to write that down.
Should write it down. Share with your friends. But
Thank
but
you.
cite me when you do. He may get into this. It seems to me these other 6 candidates on stage, it's much more like you'll have fireworks between them and Donald Trump, maybe them and even Cruz and Rubio, than you will Cruz and Trump. Because I don't think Trump launches first, and I don't think Cruz responds, even if he does.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Dennis in Crystal Lake. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy.
Hey.
Trump and Cruz a long time ago have made a pact to be 1 and 2 together. I mean, Trump won't be Cruz's 2, but Trump wants Cruz to be his 2. So you ain't going to see the guys that are going to have to do throw the bombs and stuff per se are going to be Kasich, Rubio, and Paul. This is Paul and Kasich's last chance to even make a stepping stone.
Thanks for
Same
the
with
call,
Jeb
Dennis.
Bush.
Yeah, I agree with
Jeb
that. Jeb,
Bush.
too. He's got to do something.
Do or die time. And he can't use words like big boy pants. I mean, he can't be folksy. He needs to come out strong, and especially on national security.
And he's going to have to speak English the entire debate, too. He's got to remember that. He can't.
No, he's all right.
Yeah, I don't know that Cruz is going to be Donald Trump's number 2 if he were the nominee. Could be
No.
could be Herschel Walker.
Oh, yeah, who's supporting
Herschel Walker. You
Yeah.
remember him? He won the Heisman Trophy at the University of
Wasn't he on the
Georgia.
bobsled team, too?
Yeah,
The Olympic bobsled team.
Dallas Cowboy. He's supporting Donald Trump. I guarantee you Donald would do a lot better in office than a lot of people in office now, that I can tell you for a fact, said the Herschel Walker. How many other candidates can say they're backed by a Heisman Trophy winner?
I can't. But I'm still candidate shopping, so I can't wait for tonight's debate, which, by the way, you can hear on AM 560, The Answer, beginning at 5:30. Also, besides Wolf Blitzer and Dana Bash,
Wolf Blitzer, who sucks.
our very own, stop it, our very own Hugh Hewitt's going to be there from Salem Radio. He'll be there.
Yeah.
As a comment. How many questions do you think they'll let him get in?
Probably one, like the previous debate. He should have more questions than Dana Bash, for sure.
Yeah. Or
He
maybe
knows a
Wolf
lot more.
Blitzer.
Well, yes, that won't happen because it's CNN. I understand. Also, I wonder if Donald Trump will be touting his medical records like he does his net worth. The story yesterday from his personal physician, Dr. Nick Riviera.
Have you seen a picture of him?
The lab results, I have not.
You need to see a photo.
I bet I do.
What's the name of the doctor?
Dr. Nick Riviera.
Hi, Doc. Paging Dr. Riviera.
That's from The Simpsons.
Thank
you don't
you.
watch The Simpsons?
Oh, yeah. Riviera. Yeah, that's not his real doctor.
No, the doctor's
Dr.
real name is Harold
Bornstein.
Astonishingly excellent physical strength and stamina are extraordinary, said Trump's doc. If elected, he will be the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency. How could he possibly say that? Has he examined every president of the United States? I mean, the doctor is Trump. Trump is the doctor.
It's true Trump form, I'll give you that. But I like the way I read it better. Ready?
Yeah, please.
His physical strength and stamina is extraordinary.
Yeah, you're right. You do read it better.
We were supposed to get a full medical report, and then they released that one page. saying that he's just the healthiest person ever.
That's all you need to know. Zach in Westmont, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I just want to say that it is very important who gets the Republican nominee, but I think we need to be more focused on who's going to beat Hillary than anything.
Well, right, but it's a little bit difficult to ascertain that now, isn't it? Because all of the candidates, particularly the top 3 or 4 or 5, are basically in a statistical dead heat with Hillary. So I'm the best position to beat Hillary. There's a number of candidates who can say that tonight.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I want a clean bill of health. I'm going to go see that doctor. The forecast isn't so clean. If you like sunshine, we're going to have considerable cloudiness today. A high of 44 degrees. Average high this time of year is 37, so we're well above that. And then tomorrow, we're going to have some morning showers. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy, mild. Once again, we're going to go back into the 50s. A high tomorrow of 53 degrees. Any heat out on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
It's hot and sticky on the Edens, Amy. It's an unclean delay, you might say, from Lake Avenue to a Cicero. There was a crash there. We have reports there were about 7 cars involved. It's all been cleared off the roadway now, but it's 55 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Kennedy, 33 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 34. The Eisenhower now 49 minutes from Thorndale to the post office, 36 from Manheim, outbound 33 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State has delays, 95th to LaGrange Road, the Stevenson to 31st, the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway now heavy, Farnsworth to Eola. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Oh, it's so sticky.
Now it's time for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report, brought to you by the Mutual Fund Store.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Economic reports, the Fed and crude oil prices in focus on Wall Street. Boeing hiking its dividend, announcing a stock buyback. Those stories next.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-431-0848. That's 1-800-431-0848. 1-800-431-0848. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
Wall Street investors hope to build on yesterday's gains in the market. Investors today considering corporate developments and economic reports. The Fed begins its much speculated about two-day meeting on interest rates. Will they or won't they? Wall Street also analyzing reports on retail inflation, confidence among home builders, and New York area manufacturing. We'll see whether the crude oil market is able to build on yesterday's nearly 2% rally. That after a 6-day slide, short covering helping the January crude contract recover, which settled above $36 a barrel. And watch Dow stocks. Boeing and Pfizer, both companies, late yesterday announced they're raising their dividends. Boeing sweetened the pot with a $14 billion stock buyback. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
My brother Chris is allergic to talking about retirement. Bring up his future and you'll get glazed eyes and awkward answers. Don't believe me? Let's try it. Chris, when will you retire?
Ha! You darn right I like nachos.
See what I mean? Chris, do you have a retirement account?
It's gotta be the right kind of cheese.
One last time. Are you ever going to retire?
And don't forget jalapenos. I love jalapenos.
Good for you, buddy.
Avoiding the retirement conversation? At the Mutual Fund Store, we get it, and our advisors are here to help. Whether you're storing 401k statements in a shoebox, can't tell a traditional from a Roth IRA, or include piggy bank as one of your retirement accounts, there are no judgments here. We'll simply sit down with you one-on-one, talk about where you're at, and help you put a plan in place to get you where you want to be tomorrow. Let's get the conversation started today with a free consultation.
Hi, I'm Steve Check with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
This is Dan Proft with an Upstream idea brought to you in part by the Illinois Opportunity Project. 97, that's the percentage of Chicago Teachers Union members who voted yes in a recent mock vote. Yes, they voted. They are prepared to go out on strike for the second time in 4 years. The annual average CPS teacher salary is just under $80,000. And that's before you include their health insurance benefits and guaranteed 7-figure pensions. The bankrupt, junk-rated Chicago Public Schools spend more than $15,000 annually per pupil, and yet 75% of 4th and 8th graders are neither proficient in reading nor math. This in a system of nearly 400,000 students. So who's the bad guy here? Is it the teachers union or the mayor's office? Yes, there are no white hats in the story of central planners from City Hall fighting with the central planners from the teachers union over who gets to be the lead central planner at CPS. If the teachers strike, they deserve to be unlocked from their jobs. CPS students deserve access to schools that will give them the opportunity to earn an education that sets them on a course for success in life. The only way that happens is if the adults inside CPS, the parents, and the adults outside CPS, state political leaders, change the flow of money away from central planners and to families so that they may make the same choices for their children that Tiny Dancer did for his kids matriculating at the University of Chicago Lab School. For more ideas like this, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back. We're in the midst, almost at the end, actually, of our annual Feed the Children campaign, and we have a great deal for businesses. If you're a small business owner, if you do the marketing for your company, listen up. We have a few slots left.
Like Comet Motorsports.
Yes. What did you say?
Comet.
Yes, we pronounced it wrong, but here's what you do. Make a one-time donation of $2,500, tax deductible. All of the money goes to Feed the Children. They help provide supplies, food, sundry items to local shelters and food pantries in Chicago, but also the surrounding suburbs. So what's raised here stays here. And if you donate $2,500, we will give you, as a way of saying thank you, 40 60-second commercials that will run Monday through Friday. We're not shoving you on the weekends. Oh, no. They're going to air here Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's really a great way to elevate your business to the next level. Our thanks to many business benefactors: A1 Airport Limousine Service, Comet Motorsports, Permaseal, Tall Grass Restoration, Heartstrings, just to name a few. So call Michael Mann right now. Slots are filling up quickly. Do it today. Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. He's our sales manager. Again, call Michael Mann. He's waiting for your phone call. 847-871-1527.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You can get health insurance no matter what the status of your health is. This is possible through Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois with a tax-free and tax-deductible health savings account PPO plan. Hi, this is Tom Marabali, your independent representative and consumer advocate for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. I am working with a few state senators telling them that all of the Illinois government employees, which include all state, county, municipal, and city of Chicago workers, including the teacher union members, that they need these plans. Since we, the taxpayers, are paying for these expensive health insurance benefits, employees that have health savings account PPO plans could reduce the monthly premiums by approximately 40% and save hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. So call me at 630-863-3477 about my tax-free PPO health insurance plans. That's 630-863-3477, and I will give you a free monthly quote and tell you more about saving hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars with more comprehensive plans.
Got a great night's sleep last night, all thanks to My Pillow. It conforms to my neck and back. It helps with my chronic pain due to scoliosis. Some people, it helps them with their snoring and allergies as well. It's washable, so it keeps its shape and gives you support where you need it most. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. American-made, tens of thousands of satisfied customers, and you could be one too. Go to mypillow.com, type Amy in the promo code, and we still have, for a limited time now, the buy one, get one free deal, plus the 60-day money-back guarantee if you are not satisfied. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, A-M-Y. Do it now. Again, if the offer is for a limited time, or dial this number, 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, U.S. officials deliberately ignored social media when vetting visa applicants. Will explain.
And is Darth Vader a racist? We'll have that at 7:37.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an Aurora man pleads guilty to a terror plot scheduled to go off against Illinois National Guardsmen. Colleagues honor a fallen Chicago firefighter, and the investigation continues into his death. Judge acquits a police commander of brutality charges in the Glenn Evans case. Man fatally struck by a CTA Brown line train. That investigation continues. A gun found in a Bloom Trail High School locker prompts an investigation. And Jimmy Butler busts out with 23 in the Bulls rout the 76ers. Considerable cloudy today, high 44. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
We need to have the strongest military in the world.
And Marco Rubio will make his case to be commander-in-chief again tonight in the next Republican primetime debate.
No cramming session for the front-runner. Donald Trump rallied with a few thousand ahead of taking his place center stage tonight.
This is really beautiful, fantastic. What a crowd. What a crowd!
Ted Cruz will stand next to Trump tonight as the Texas senator surges in Iowa. A Fox News poll gives Cruz the advantage there. Trump has noticed, now questioning Cruz's temperament to lead. Dr. Ben Carson, who has faded a bit, will also have a podium next to Trump. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is back on the main stage tonight after an undercard appearance last month. In Las Vegas, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Looking for common ground in the fight against ISIS. Secretary of State Kerry's in Russia for talks, while Defense Secretary Carter goes to Turkey.
Turkey has an enormous role to play, and them too, in their case too. We appreciate what they're doing. We want them to do more.
This is the day after President Obama said we're hitting ISIS harder than ever, but Republicans are critical of his strategy. Is William Porter guilty? A Baltimore jury will consider that again today, deliberating in the first of 6 police officer trials in Freddie Gray's death. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Baltimore.
12 men and women, 7 black and 5 white, will go behind closed doors again this morning here in Baltimore to consider the fate of William Porter, charged with involuntary manslaughter and misconduct in the death of Freddie Gray in a police wagon last spring, a vehicle prosecutors described as a casket on wheels. It's quiet here outside the courthouse at this hour, but the city is bracing for possible protests after the verdict. Leave canceled for all Baltimore police officers. Dave.
Rachel, he was a droid on the red carpet.
It's because of the fans. It's because of people who love these films.
We all know Anthony Daniels better as C-3PO. At last night's Star Wars premiere, some 5,000 lucky people got to see the new Force Awakens movie days before the rest of us. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 41 degrees. It is 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. The second of 2 Aurora cousins accused in a terror plot has pleaded guilty. Former Illinois National Guard Specialist Hassan Edmonds has admitted to trying to fly to the Middle East to join ISIS and attempting to carry out an attack on an armory in Joliet where he expected to kill hundreds. He and his cousin Jonas Edmonds were arrested last March. A veteran Chicago firefighter died Monday after falling through an elevator shaft, battling a smoky Southside blaze at a factory. Dan Capuano was among the firefighters dispatched to that 3-story warehouse at 92nd in Baltimore. He was a 15-year veteran of the Chicago Fire Department, according to Commissioner Jose Santiago.
It looks like that the firefighter Daniel had just walked into the elevator shaft as he was searching, couldn't see, and fell.
The owners of that building apparently lacked proper permitting for construction that was taking place, plus a permit for removal of the elevator and other structural alterations that were underway. Chicago police are conducting a death investigation after a man was struck and killed by a CTA Brown Line train. The accident happened yesterday evening near the Kedzie stop. Shuttle buses are available for passengers at times because the Brown Line, according to the CTA, will not be stopping at Kedzie until further notice. See, the Chicago Police Department makes more changes at the top. Interim Superintendent John Escalante announcing several promotions yesterday with the goal of having a diverse group of leaders on the force. A Chicago woman has been sentenced to 3 years in federal prison for her role in swiping millions of taxpayer dollars in grant funds. U.S. District Judge Richard Mills imposed the sentence on Karen Dingle after sentencing her husband Leon to 6 years in that case. Prosecutors say she and her husband pocketed at least $2.9 million out of $9.6 million in Department of Health grants from 2004 to 2010. And a swim coach at Oak Forest High School resigned his role amidst allegations of inappropriate conduct with a student. District officials said yesterday no charges have been filed against Mark Gonzalez, Parents of swim team members were notified last Friday. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler 23, Nikola Mirotic 17. Bulls won their third straight, 115-96 over Philadelphia. The news, a service of CNN and the Republican debate. The last Republican debates of 2015 are on CNN tonight. Will the frontrunners build on momentum, or will someone break out new? Wolf Blitzer moderates the CNN Republican presidential debates tonight at 5 and 7:30, only on CNN. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a .com domain name for only $2.99 for the first year. Right now at GoDaddy.com. 2-year purchase required. Second year is $14.99.
Have you purchased gold? Did you overpay in commissions? How much did you pay? Do you actually know? What are your coins worth today? You work hard for your money. Pay their high commissions or get more gold. Call Goldworth. Discover what big dealers hope you don't know. Request the Insider's Guide free. Don't buy another ounce without it. Call 800-257-GOLD. 800-257-GOLD. Visit goldworth.com.
7:07 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens is jammed from Gulf Road to the junction. It's 40 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Kennedy is 33 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 41, the Eisenhower. Now 57 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, 42 from Manheim, outbound 33 to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, and 38 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 35 minutes to 3:55. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, still Harlem to LaGrange Road. From the Stevenson to 47th. From the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy, Roselle to Meacham. Reagan Tollway from Farnsworth to Wiola. Southbound 53, there's a tap of the brakes. Palatine Road to Northwest Highway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today will be cloudy with a high 44, then tonight mostly cloudy with a shower in spots toward dawn, a low 39. A passing shower or two in the morning tomorrow, otherwise breezy with clouds, high 52. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
41 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Attorney John DeWatt, using the power of bankruptcy law to rein in the IRS. ThinkingOutsideTheBoxLaw.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
In fact, since this summer, ISIL has not had a single successful major offensive operation on the ground in either Syria or Iraq.
Now, in the wake of the worst terror attack since 9/11, federal agents are reconstructing the online history of Malik and her husband Syed Farouk. a history that shows even before they met, they were on the road to jihad, something authorities could have known but did not, as she was welcomed to America.
You know, obviously, things went wrong.
I know why I have feelings, good, bad, and otherwise, about Star Wars, and I have a lot. I spent the whole day talking about the whole Darth Vader situation. But
really?
Oh.
You could?
Yeah, like...
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
What is up, Dan and Amy? Tell you what, I will not make fun of your meatloaf anymore. That was pretty good.
Really?
Pretty good meatloaf.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
'Cause,
you.
You know, you guys are always calling for the meatloaf.
The meatloaf! We want it now!
Yeah.
The meatloaf!
And you delivered.
Just changed the recipe a little bit. So, yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it. I made a special batch for you, you fine gentlemen here at the station.
And we're all very moved.
And I'm not going to tell you.
That's what the holidays are about.
Yes, giving. And I'm not going to tell you what the secret ingredient is either.
Oh.
There's not a scene out of the
Is
Borat.
this Soylent Green?
No.
Soylent Green is?
No. it's
Amy's
legit-
meatloaf is people?
No, it's FDA approved. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Now I'm a little concerned.
No, don't.
Feeling a little lightheaded. A couple of items on the national security front. Why don't we start with some good news for a change? The good news is that Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, you remember, President Obama traded for him, gave up 5 Taliban terrorists in order to get this deserter back home. Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, his case has been referred for trial by court-martial. That happened yesterday. This despite a preliminary hearing officer who had recommended Bergdahl's case be moved only to a special misdemeanor level military court. So he is going to face a general court-martial. The penalties for conviction on the charges of desertion, much more significant. Good news.
Oh, yeah. He could spend anywhere from 30 years to life in prison for not only the desertion charge, but endangering his fellow troops. And his lawyer maintained the whole time, well, time served. I mean, he was a prisoner for 5 years. That should be enough. But a lot of people, 6 Americans died looking for him. So a lot of people were pleased that things finally went the right way and justice was going to be served.
Yeah, and so this will give him time if he does 30 to life. That'll give him a lot of time to sketch out that action hero character he thinks he's going to be.
When
in his new life.
Said this to the reporter from Serial.
If I was trying to prove to the world I am I don't know, Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
Wow, thinking of himself as a fictional character.
I hope he has a vivid imagination, as he seems to indicate, even delusion, because he's going to be spending a lot of time by himself, so he's going to need that vivid imagination that he has. By the way, just a point of order on that. I was just thinking about this the other day, watching a trailer for 13 Hours, that Benghazi movie that's coming out next month. So President Obama's argument in terms of trading the terrorists for Bergdahl was that we don't leave anybody behind, even a deserter. But when the opportunity to scramble a response team to aid Ambassador Stevens and his men in Benghazi was presented, what happened?
Nothing.
Not the same. We don't leave anybody behind. We don't leave our men behind, men and women behind. Protocol was followed, I would submit. So that's one interesting thing. The other is President Obama met at the Pentagon yesterday and went there to see if the administration, the regime, has a ISIS strategy. Good news is basically after meeting with his intelligence officers and generals at the Pentagon, it turns out that what he said the day of the Paris attacks still the case. ISIS is contained in Iraq. Well, ISIS is just contained, not even in Iraq and Syria, just contained.
In fact, since this summer, ISIL has not had a single successful major offensive operation on the ground in either Syria or Iraq. In recent weeks, we've unleashed a new wave of strikes on their lifeline, their oil infrastructure, destroying hundreds of their tankers, trucks, wells, and refineries. And we're going to keep on hammering those. ISIL also continues to lose territory in Iraq. ISIL had already lost across Kirkuk province, and more recently, ISIL lost at Sinjar, losing a strategic highway. ISIL lost at Baji with its oil refinery. We saw the daring raid supported by our special forces, which rescued dozens of prisoners from ISIL, and in which Master Sergeant Joshua Wheeler made the ultimate sacrifice. So far, ISIL has lost about 40% of the populated areas it once controlled in Iraq, and it will lose more. Iraqi forces are now fighting their way deeper into Ramadi. They're working to encircle Fallujah and cut off ISIL supply routes into Mosul.
Yeah, and on and on. And then he went and listed a number of ISIL leaders who've been killed. And, you know, he tried to talk tough, Dan.
We're also taking out ISIL leaders, commanders, and killers one by one. And our next message to them is simple: you are next.
But so you hear it on the radio.
No, wait a second.
You are next.
Wait a second.
You want me to play it again?
No, that's what ISIS wants. Isn't that what ISIS wants? Isn't that just going to be used as propaganda to recruit? You can't use that kind of tough talk.
I don't know.
That's what ISIS wants.
Well, here's more tough talk.
We are hitting ISIL harder than ever. Last month in November, we dropped more bombs on ISIL targets than any other month since this campaign started.
Yeah,
but then you watch him on TV, and there's no fire, there's no passion there, there's no fight. I mean, it is so strange how he has separated himself from ISIS, and it's as if he's calling it in, he's phoning it in.
The substance of that bombing campaign has been going on for a year and a half. More bombs last month than any month to this point. What have you been waiting for? He's talking about taking out oil tankers and supply lines and production facilities. We knew where those were from the beginning. What took you so long? In addition to that, one of the things that wasn't addressed in his remarks, and I wonder, boy, to be a fly in the wall during his briefing, ground forces. There's every reason to believe that he has been advised by Joint Chiefs of Staff as well as intelligence experts, you're not going to win this. You're not going to degrade and destroy, to borrow a phrase, through air power alone. So 250 special forces accomplishes nothing. It's symbolic, and frankly, shame on you for using the lives of American soldiers for politically symbolic purposes. But you're going to have to put more boots on the ground. And that was not addressed. No, and I assume that continues to be rejected. But that's part of the reality.
Yeah, and also what was not addressed publicly, but behind closed doors. The White House has a new policy, Dan. I don't know if you've heard about this, but they're ordering, the top to bottom review of how people who apply for fiancé visas are screened. Because what we learned yesterday from a former Homeland Security undersecretary is that the U.S. has been deliberately ignoring social media when vetting visa applicants. Just take a listen here to John Cohen.
During that time period, immigration officials were not allowed to use or view social media as a part of the screening process.
And he's talking about Tashfeen Malik, the wife turned killer, who when she first came to this country through Chicago, I might add, she had 3 social media posts wanting to wage violent jihad. Right. And everybody missed it because of political correctness.
The primary concern was that it would be viewed negatively if it was disclosed publicly, and there were concerns that it would be embarrassing.
Yeah, embarrassing for the Obama administration. So that's all the people who came in on fiancé visas. And I said yesterday, $35,000 a year. It's $41,000 a year. And they did not look at their social media postings.
Yeah, that's right. And John Kerry, the top-down review, as you mentioned. And John Kerry, though, said over the weekend, look, we know who's coming into this country for the most part. This is...
But real quick, just to wrap this up, the DHS now, Dan, has a small pilot program where they're going to screen applicants' social media history. Oh, isn't that nice? That's just perfect.
Well, these stories.
I feel safe now, really.
These stories, and we'll get to Obama's interview with Yahoo News, too, and his comments on Gitmo and the Castro brothers. These help explain why President Obama finds only 34% of Americans approve of his handling of ISIS, of terrorist attacks. 37%, just a tick above, only 37% approve of the president's handling of foreign policy. More generally, I'd love to meet the 1 in 3 Americans who actually do approve. That'd be a fascinating discussion. Hector in Batavia, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I'm noticing that as Obama spoke there, he's trying to sound tough. The media would call George W. Bush a cowboy when he spoke like that. And I just find it interesting that President Mom Jeans is all of a sudden starting to sound like a cowboy. I wonder why that is.
Right. It's tough talk to mask the lack of a strategy, the lack of underlying action other than, increasing bombing, finally targeting supply lines and the moneymaker, ISIS's main moneymaker, oil business.
He doesn't care. I mean, looking in his eyes. Look, seriously, if you looked in his eyes while he was delivering that speech, he's just an empty shell. There's no passion. There's no fight in him. He doesn't care. It's as if it's just another day, another press conference. I mean, we're talking about ISIS. We're talking about people who are coming to this country to kill us. And he's just, Well, he had more passion about climate control and that climate change conference that he did about ISIS.
Yeah, he does have passion about Gitmo, though. He still wants to close Gitmo.
Well, first of all, just in terms of Guantanamo policy generally, I am absolutely persuaded, as are my top intelligence and military advisors, that Guantanamo is used as a recruitment tool for organizations like ISIS.
Right, there he goes back again. Everything's a recruitment tool except what he does, as if the propaganda will change. It turns out that we know Gitmo detainees have gone back to wage jihad against the West, putting American soldiers' lives on the line. And very much like Kerry, we know who's coming into this country for the most part. Obama relegated to that. Well, of course we knew that some of those enemy combatants we released would rejoin the fight, and that's just a rounding error because it's other people's lives at stake, not his.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Considerable cloudiness throughout the day. Pretty mild, a high of 44 degrees. Then tonight, shower in spots, and you're going to wake up to showers tomorrow morning. Otherwise, it'll be mostly cloudy during the afternoon tomorrow, breezy and mild. Highs back up into the 50s, 53. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. The Edens is improving after an earlier crash near Cicero. It's 34 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. Kennedy is getting heavier, 41 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 44. The Eisenhower, 57 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound at just 33. Stevenson inbound before County Line, crash on the right side, then it's jammed Harlem to Kedzie, an hour and 8 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 49 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 42 minutes to 3:55. Ryan is 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Delays on the northbound Tri-State Harlem to LaGrange Road, the Stevenson much of the way to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Adams Tollway eastbound slow Roselle to Meacham, westbound Beverly to before 25. There's a stalled semi in the right lane. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Text from Ann B. Davis's bowling ball. How dare you threaten a non-constitutional right of a non-citizen, referring to checking social media posts for visa applicants.
Oh, it seems so simple, doesn't it?
Speaking of Ann B. Davis's bowling ball, he took a class, the concealed carry class, from the gun safety guy, and now he is waiting for his concealed carry permit. The gun safety guy's mission is pure and simple: to help good people safely enjoy recreational shooting and improve their ability to protect themselves and their family responsibly. This is what Pastor Ed Bryant, a.k.a. the gun safety guy, has built for you and your family. Pastor Bryant's background and experience enables him to communicate with all of his students, no matter what their age, gender, or ability. New shooters learn the fundamentals. Experienced shooters develop their skills. Above everything, all shooters are taught to value safety first. Family-friendly firearms instruction is the core of the gun safety guy, and as did Ann B. Davis's bowling ball, I took his basic pistol class, which was excellent, and I can attest to the fact that safety is the preeminent concern of the gun safety guy. So give the gift of firearm safety this holiday season. Gift certificates are available. Learn more at thegunsafetyguy.com. That's thegunsafetyguy.com. family-friendly firearms instruction with NRA-certified instructor, Pastor Ed Bryant, thegunsafetyguy.com. But wait, there's more. 'Tis the season of gift giving and also for New Year's resolutions. If someone you love would like to learn how to safely operate a firearm, visit thegunsafetyguy.com. There, you or your loved one can register for NRA-accredited classes as well as the Illinois Concealed Carry class. But right now, be caller number
5
to 312-642-5600. Be caller number 5 to 312-642-5600 right now to win a $150 gift certificate towards a firearms class from the Gun Safety Guy.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
So do you think a politician can fix Illinois' problems? Me either. That's why I invested and I opened a real estate company in South Florida. Real wealth comes from real estate. I'm Sean Thompson. My company is Liberty Real Estate Services, and it's time to invest in a personal real estate portfolio that will secure your future. With Liberty Real Estate, we'll help you buy those properties, and most importantly, we'll help you manage those properties once they've been acquired. Financial independence can only be achieved when you've broken down the market like I have. Nobody wants to rent your 401k, but many want to rent your house. Real wealth comes from real estate with Liberty Real Estate Services. Call me right now at 630-323-4376. That number again is 630-323-4376, or visit the website at libertyrealestateservices.com for information you'll need to get real financial freedom and control your destiny. 630-323-4376 or libertyrealestateservices.com.
Liberty Real Estate Services, LLC. Illinois license number 481011303. Florida license ID BK3339363.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
AM 560, The
Answer. Feeling generous this holiday season? Maybe have some extra cash, some extra change jingling in your pockets? Well, we're going to tell you how to spend your money here.
You keep the change. We want the cash.
Exactly. We've partnered up with Feed the Children. They're really a wonderful organization. What's raised here stays here. And our goal this year is to feed 18,000 children in and around the Chicago area this holiday season. It just takes a few minutes to make a big difference. Call this number, 866-435-2248. Make a donation, maybe on behalf of your well-fed children or grandchildren. And operators are standing by. They'll take your credit card information quickly, and off you go and on with your day. And you'll bring smiles to the faces of so many who are hungry. 1 in 5 children, never forget that, 1 in 5 American children face the prospect of hunger on a regular basis. So we want to bring some holiday joy to them this time of year.
So that's one way to participate. The other way is to join dozens of businesses who've already enrolled in our Business Benefactor program. With this program, any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Feed the Children receives 40 60-second commercials that will run prime broadcast hours Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on these airwaves, AM 560 The Answer. All you do is call sales manager Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527 and ask for the Business Benefactor program. He'll get you signed up. Or you can just text the word FEED to 64636.
How's my meatloaf?
That's our turnkey.pro text line. The same one you use for the show. It's very good. Again, Michael Mann directly at 847-871-1527 or text the word FEED to 64636 to enroll in our Business Benefactor program. And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
Opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
There were times I was finding myself almost falling asleep at the wheel, that I had to pull over. That's the first thing I noticed, that hasn't happened since I've been taking Balance of Nature. I'm in sales, so I do a lot of walking during the day that would tire me out. I'm not as fatigued. I feel good.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Well, the holidays are right around the corner. If you're like me, you've already started to decorate for the season. But before you start trimming that tree, I want you to call Executive Green Carpet Cleaning at 708-599-5151. There's still time to have your carpet and upholstery cleaned before you have family and friends over for holiday dinners and gift exchanges. Executive Green came to my house a few months ago, and my carpet, not kidding you, still looks newly cleaned. It actually looks brand new. No stains or kitty marks where I'm putting my tree this year. Executive Green's cleaning process, it's really unique, and it's safe for your entire family. They use their own purified water, not water from your sink. They don't dump the dirty water on your front lawn like the big yellow box company does, which, by the way, I'm never going to call again because I don't have to, because Executive Green Carpet Cleaning is the only company you should use. They use a non-toxic solution that leaves no sticky, chalky residue like the competition does. And they have a no-risk guarantee promise that if you are not 100% satisfied, you will not pay for your service. So make your home beautiful for the holidays by scheduling now. Call this number, 708-599-5151, or go online at executivegreencarpetcleaning.com. Again, that's executivegreencarpetcleaning.com. Locally owned. They've been in business since 1989. The only place to call if you want your carpet and upholstery cleaned is executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Nice song. Meatloaf.
Yeah.
That's the theme today.
I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
That coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The Lucas Museum, we're going to have to pull the plug on it because it turns out George Lucas is a racist. We'll explain at 7:37.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom with the headlines from here at home and around the world. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Final Republican presidential debate of 2015 is just hours away. Frontrunner Donald Trump will share the Las Vegas stage tonight with Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Ben Carson, Jeb Bush, Carly Fiorina, John Kasich, Chris Christie, and Rand Paul. The main event begins around 7:30 Chicago time on CNN, and the only place you can hear both the main event and the undercard debate on radio in Chicago is right here on AM 560. Donald Trump says tonight's debate is going to be a good one. He rallied in Las Vegas ahead of the last GOP presidential event of the year.
The other candidates should be thankful because I'm giving them a chance to make total fools of themselves in front of millions of people. But no, honestly, I'm doing a good job for the Republican Party. People are able to get their votes out.
Trump says other candidates will all come after him. President Obama's job rating is sagging under the weight of the recent terror attacks in Paris and San Bernardino. A new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll finds about 43% of Americans approve of the job the president is doing, his lowest rating of the year. Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl facing a court-martial and possibly life in prison if convicted. His lawyer says the charges of desertion and misbehavior have been referred to a military trial. Seattle is now the first major American city to allow Uber and Lyft drivers to unionize. The Seattle City Council approved that law yesterday. The second of two Aurora cousins accused of plotting a terror attack has pleaded guilty. Former Illinois National Guard Specialist Hassan Edmonds admitted to trying to fly to the Middle East to join ISIS and also pled guilty to attempting to carry out an attack on an armory in Joliet. The coroner in the spotlight for releasing details about the death of a Northern Illinois police officer has dropped re-election plans. Lake County Coroner Thomas Rudd withdrew his bid for the Democratic nomination, which came a day before he was set to contest a challenge to his paperwork. Rudd would not discuss that decision. The Daily Herald reports 2 Republicans were challenging that paperwork. And there is a chance, just a chance, that parts of this state will see a white Christmas this year. State climatologist Jim Angle says the odds are the biggest in the northern portion of the state. White Christmas, by the way, is defined as having at least 1 inch of snow on the ground on December 25th. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler 23 and the Bulls win over Philadelphia 115-96. The news, a service of Let Us Entertain You. Give the gift that fits all appetites, a Let Us Entertain You gift card. Receive a free $25 holiday bonus for every $100 in Lettuce gift cards you buy. Simply visit a Lettuce restaurant or LEYE.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Cornerstone National Bank believes trust, service, and relationship is the foundation of a business banking partnership. Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company, where you belong. Visit cornerstonenb.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Shalom Klein of Get Down to Business, the show for small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship, powered by Tandem HR.
Big plans for your business mean you can't do it alone. Investing in your management team is a smart investment in your future. These 5 tips from Tandem HR will take your business to the next level. 1. Find good talent and keep them. This means paying them fair and square for what they bring to your team. 2. Recognize a job well done. Sharing in success builds morale and creates a culture that appreciates hard work. 3. Teach time management. Arm your team with tools that will help them get the most out of every day. 4. Invest in training and development. Great leaders have a constant willingness to learn. 5. Lead by example. Be professional, decisive, ethical, and supportive. The leadership skills you want to see in your team should be the same skills they see in the boss.
For more tips, advice, and stories of entrepreneurial successes, listen to Get Down to Business with me, Shalom Klein, heard Sunday evenings at 6. Your Business Minute of the Day is brought to you by Everett Wealth Solutions.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
For more than 40 years, Steel has built outdoor power equipment here in America and sold its products to professionals and homeowners through servicing Steel dealers. Built in America, believing in America. That's Steel Strong.
Steel Strong. Running grow #1. Steel Strong. Yeah, I'm feeling.
A majority of Steel products are built in the United States from domestic and foreign parts and components.
Steel Strong.
Find a dealer near you at steeldealers.com.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads at our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Mike, the Edens has delays in both directions between Gulf Road and the Junction. 34 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, it's 27. Inbound Kennedy, 43 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 27 from Montrose, 20 in the Express. Outbound, 37 to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour. Thorndale to downtown. 44 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, 33 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's 40 minutes. The Ryan, 27 minutes. 95th to downtown. Getting heavy on the northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway. Delays from Boughton to the Reagan Tollway. Butterfield to Roosevelt. Army Trail to 290. Traffic is a service of CNN and the Republican debate. The last Republican debates of 2015 are on CNN tonight. Will the frontrunners build on their momentum, or will someone new break out? Wolf Blitzer moderates the CNN Republican presidential debates tonight at 5 and 7:30, only on CNN. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Cloudy, 44 today. Showers overnight, low 38. 41 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by ExecutiveGreenCarpetCleaning.com. Get ready for the holidays by scheduling your carpet and upholstery cleaning today.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy.
Remember this?
Yeah.
Didn't SNL do a skit with this? Star Wars. No?
Yeah. Like
Beautiful Star
right, the
Wars.
lounge act, yes.
Yeah,
very nice.
lounge
Very
lizard,
nice.
right.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Star Wars, I don't know what to do about this.
I don't think anybody can wrap their head around this, Dan. But
Well-
yes, go ahead.
well,
you're brilliant. You help us out. You help me, help you, help them.
Well,
Mhm.
I don't know if I should let Melissa Harris Perry tell Melody Hobson she married a racist, or I should take it upon myself to do it.
Maybe you could tweet it out.
I mean, Melody Hobson should know
Well,
that she married a racist, and I'm not
well,
kidding.
they're kind of far into their relationship now, though.
Well, I mean,
Maybe she figured it out on her own. I don't know.
shouldn't be living a lie. Of course, the Lucas Museum, that is by the boards now that we have discovered the racist undertones of Star Wars. Melissa Harris Perry, for those of you who don't know her, which is just about everyone, she has a show on MSNBC, and she also doesn't pay her taxes. And there seems to be a real connection there. The Venn diagram of MSNBC hosts who don't pay their taxes, it's like it's a perfect circle.
Yeah, Al Sharpton, her husband.
Teray,
yeah,
I think he's
Teray.
gone.
Teray, right?
Yeah, so he's gone. Melissa Harris Perry on Star Wars. This is not like a Quentin Tarantino spoof of talking about how Top Gun was an allegory for Tom Cruise dealing with his homosexuality. Did you ever see that one? That's a good one. That's a pretty
Wow.
fun riff. This is not this. This is serious. Melissa Harris Perry explains to all of you getting dressed up like R2-D2 and C-3PO to go wait in line to see Star Wars this week how Star Wars is racist.
I know why I have feelings, good, bad, and otherwise, about Star Wars, and I have a lot. I spent the whole day talking about the whole Darth Vader situation. But oh,
You could?
yeah, like the part where he was totally a black guy whose name basically was James Earl Jones, who,
Right.
and we were, all- and but while he was black, he was terrible and bad and awful, and used to cut off white men's hands and didn't, actually claim his son. But as soon as he claims his son and goes over to the good, he takes off his mask and he is white. Oh yes, I have many, many feelings about that, but I will try to put them over here.
Wow, that's a stretch to try and be noticed. She has been noticed, but now she's in the crazy category.
The only proper response to that is this.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. And may God have mercy on your soul.
I think that sums it up nicely. Thank you, Billy
That
Madison.
clip never gets old.
Yeah, Melissa Harris Perry, I'm looking forward to today's show where I assume she's going to go after Space Balls as well.
Oh, Spaceball.
And Rick Moranis.
Mel Brooks.
You
Oh, yeah,
know.
Rick
Right. If Darth Vader's not getting a pass, Dark Helmet should not be getting a pass either.
I mean, really, the bosses at MSNBC should sit her down and say, Melissa, are you feeling okay? Is your blood sugar level low?
Yeah,
What is
right.
going on in that sweet head of yours?
Now, the flip side of this,
Yeah.
speaking of Hollywood, we have a rare moment of some clarity from a big star and, frankly, I think a very underrated actor, Kurt Russell. Very good actor. So he's in the new Quentin Tarantino movie, and I know that's troublesome because of what Tarantino said about police officers.
Yeah, but they made the movie before he made those comments.
Well, that's true.
Just for the record.
So the movie Hateful Eight, this is the Tarantino film that's coming out this month, too.
Are you going to see it?
I'll probably see it. I'm a movie file.
I know.
Russell.
What are your top 5 movies? Well, we'll talk about that later.
yeah,
We'll talk about that next week when there's nothing to talk
Yeah,
about.
look at my Tinder page. I mean, what do you have my top 5 movies? Kurt Russell was interviewed by some effete Hollywood film reviewer, know nothing, named Jeffrey Wells, and the issue of guns came up. Listen to Kurt Russell pushing back against the left-wing tropes on guns. Pretty good stuff.
People are generally, between Paris and San Bernardino, there's this thing that sudden violence as a normal day-to-day aspect coming from the gun. Right?
No, to mix war.
I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about ground level, water table, a feeling that's in people's bones that this New York Times piece was talking about. People are generally, between Paris and San Bernardino, there's this thing that sudden violence as a normal day-to-day aspect coming from the gun culture, coming from everything else. It's a different vibe,
I don't understand the concepts of conversation of the gun culture. We've lived with guns since, the 7th century or something? I don't know.
We all know that right now, guns is a trope. It's it's not a trope, it's a totem, it's a metaphor that disenfranchised white guys need. It makes them feel good because they're being
You can say what you want. I don't agree with that. So it's not my thing.
But it's statistically...
Well, you can look. If you think gun control or something like that is going to change a terrorist point of view, I think you're out of your mind. I think I think anybody is. I think it's absolutely insane.
Nice.
Bravo.
He's got a hot wife and a gorgeous daughter too. Congratulations.
Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kate Hudson. And he and Goldie Hawn.
Terrible actress, though.
No, she's
Kate
not.
Hudson
Don't
is.
rip on my Kate Hudson. Do not touch her.
Oh.
Rhetorically, okay?
Wow.
Rawr.
Wow. Nobody likes failure to launch more than you. Clearly, I had no idea.
Cheeky
Good grief.
movie.
Yeah, but I love the Jeffrey Wells, this effete Hollywood know nothing film reviewer. Guns are a metaphor that disenfranchised white guys need, a totem for disenfranchised white guys that make them feel good about themselves. Good for Kurt Russell for at least not just even kind of tolerating it and not taking the bait, but actually pushing back and calling him the goofball that he is. By the way,
remember in San Bernardino they did try and use pipe bombs, but fortunately they did not ignite.
And that's despite a law against using pipe bombs.
See?
There's just a little bit of note here on Star Wars. Just going back to Star Wars because our technical producer, David Stripling, he has made this place unsafe. Did you hear the lightsaber sound effect?
Oh, yeah. Oh, watch it. It's my head.
I mean, this place is going to get raided. George Lucas has warned fans not to spark terror alerts with their cardboard lightsabers. This is serious.
Use the Force, Luke.
This is the world in which we live. Lightsabers. Some movie theaters aren't allowing people to dress up.
Yeah, you can't wear costumes. Because of the Aurora theater shooting, since then, they have banned costumes from certain movie theaters. Most mainstream movie theaters, you can't dress up.
I don't feel comfortable watching Star Wars unless I'm dressed like Princess Leia. So I guess I'm just going to have to wait for it to come out on demand.
Yeah, Chewbacca's my favorite. You can get through. Just do your hair, Dan.
Verlin on the south side.
How you doing, Amy?
Good, Verlin. How are you?
All right.
Hi, Verlin. It's Dan. I'm over here.
That's because the only reason why I didn't say hi, Dan, is because I'm about to get into it with you about something.
All right.
All right. Now listen, I'm calling in to take issue with this catch-22 that conservatives have going on. Listen. Simply put, you can't just lock a human being up forever without any due process. Now, if the terrorists are not, I understand that Gitmo serves a purpose. I'm not against Gitmo. We should keep it so they can get the information and do whatever they got to do. But after they've done everything they have to do, if they're not subject to our laws, then put them on trial by the United Nations so they can be subject by everybody's laws. I don't care if the judgment is life, 40 years, 50 years, or whatever. Give them a number or give them life, but keeping them locked up in Gitmo forever without any due process, I don't believe that's American. I don't believe I believe it's both.
Verlin, non-citizens and enemy combatants don't have due process rights. They don't have constitutional rights, because they're enemy combatants. And in a time of war, as you'll recall throughout the annals of history, what you do with prisoners of war is maintain them as prisoners until such time as the war is over, so they don't return to the fight and put your guys' lives in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, wait a second, I'm not done. For example, when you release Ibrahim al-Kozi, a Guantanamo detainee that was transferred by Obama to Sudan in July of 2012, and he resurfaces just recently as the leader of Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, which is described as the most dangerous branch of Al-Qaeda. That's kind of a problem, particularly when we're talking about putting special forces in theaters of war and the like. You know what I'm saying?
What about the comment that I said about putting them on trial by the United Nations? What about that?
We'll put them on trial in due course when the war is over. They are enemy combatants. There's no rush to put them on trial whatsoever. I don't really necessarily have a problem with putting them on trial for war crimes, but there's no rush to do so, and we certainly shouldn't be releasing them back into the fight. Thanks for the call, Verlin.
Mr. Tango has spoken very eloquently, and I wish I could be as forgiving. But I can't, because this whole thing sucks. I mean, this is the biggest pile of
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Considerable cloudiness to start your Tuesday morning, a high of 44 degrees. Tonight, we're going to have showers in spots, and then tomorrow morning you'll be greeted with showers or two. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy, mild. Highs back up into the 50s we go. Tomorrow, we're going to have a high of 53 degrees. Let's see how the inbound Edens is shaping up. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Inbound Edens, Amy has improved. It's 27 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose. Delays start at Pratt, outbound 31 minutes, but the Kennedy is getting heavier. It's an hour and 5 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown. 47 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express, big savings. Outbound 37 minutes to the airport from downtown, the Eisenhower. Now an hour and 10 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, 53 minutes from Manheim, outbound 36 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown, Lakeshore Drive, southbound. We now see delays, Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound, it's slow, 120 to 176. Northbound heavy in pockets between Harlem and 47th, then from the Reagan to North Avenue. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Don't get stuck paying two mortgages or living with a for sale sign in your yard forever. The answer is simple. Just call Saul Z and the Z team. Saul Z guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to. 29 days pass without a sale, Saul will buy it or help you rent it. And working with Saul won't obligate you to anything, because if you aren't happy, Saul lets you out of the contract. Saul is so confident in selling your home because he spends many more times on marketing than his competitors. For example, Mike and Kathleen from Glen Ellen heard about Saul Z and the Z team from a well-known radio personality endorsement and met with Saul. After hearing about Saul's marketing plan, they listed for $275,000, and Saul sold their home in only 7 days at 99% of their asking price. The Wall Street Journal ranks Saul 106 out of more than 1.2 million agents because his team sells an average of over 300 homes a year compared to only 5 or 6 for the average agent. That's why I'll be calling Saul when I'm ready to sell my well-appointed condo or buy a new home. Go to callsaul.net. That's Saul, S-A-U-L, callsaul.net to find out what your home's worth, or call Saul directly at 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666 and start packing.
If you suffer from depression, consider TMS, an incredible new advancement in treating and relieving depression. Medications may not work and can cause serious side effects.
I'm Jim Marks, a medical director at Theramind Services and a board-certified psychiatrist for over 22 years. If you or someone you love suffers from depression, TMS can change your life. I've witnessed its transformative results in my patients for years.
TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation, is a safe, non-invasive, and highly effective treatment for drug-resistant depression. Over 50,000 patients have been helped by TMS. Most insurance companies cover TMS, including Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Depression can be beaten, and without drugs. Schedule a free consultation with Theramind, with locations throughout Chicagoland. If you suffer from depression, do something about it. Call Theramind, 847-562-5868, or go to tmsmind.com.
Let's talk Christmas gifts. I'll bet you've got a long list of people to send to, right? If you're like me, you struggle to find the perfect gift for everybody on your list. I've got a tip for you, an easy stop, proflowers.com. The only way I ever send flowers to anybody in my life is proflowers.com because of the price, because of the selection, the convenience, and this week only, ProFlowers is offering you the Santa's Workshop mini Christmas tree for $19.99. I get this mini Christmas tree every year and put it in my home. The tree's 18 inches tall, comes in a festive red tin with free colorful lights and 12 free ornaments, all for $19.99. Looks great, smells even better. Go to proflowers.com. Use the promo code MikeG. That's the only way to get this Santa's Workshop mini Christmas tree for Christmas, $19.99. Visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the top right corner. Type in Mike G. That's proflowers.com. Click on the microphone. Type in Mike G. Now order today because this offer expires Friday at midnight. Proflowers.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
'Tis the season for giving, and we are still signing up businesses for our business benefactor program. The proceeds, all of it, go to Feed the Children. They help raise money for kids in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. I can't stress that enough. There's a number of food pantries and shelters in the suburbs, if people don't know about. And Feed the Children helps them. They're an integral part of their shelters. And we want you to make a one-time donation, if you can, by calling this number, 866-435-2248. That's 866-435-2248. Individual donation, we're asking for $76, but whatever you can give is appreciated. But there's another way, and that's to become an exclusive business benefactor.
And the way you do that is make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Feed the Children. And in return, you receive 40 60-second commercials that run Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., right here on AM 560 The Answer. All you do to get signed up for the Business Benefactor Program is call our sales manager, Michael Mann. Call him directly at 847-871-1527. Or you can just text the word FEED to our turnkey.pro text line, 64636, and you'll be prompted to sign up, as dozens of businesses already have.
Yeah, Comet Motorsports, Flex Executives Management Solutions, A1 Airport Limousine Services, Heartstrings, Patient MD, just to name a few. Really, call sooner rather than later if you want to become a business benefactor. And if you're the owner of a small business, or you do the marketing for your company and you've thought about dabbling into radio advertising, now is really the time to do it. It's a wonderful deal. Nowhere in Chicago can you get for $2,500 40 one-minute commercials. So call Michael Mann if you have any questions. His number, 847-871-1527. Again, that's 847-871-1527. And Merry Christmas.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Free speech is under attack. After the massacre of Charlie Hebdo in Paris, the intimidation of Sony Pictures over the interview, and the attacks on American soil in Garland, Texas, it's clear that standing up for free speech is more important now than ever. In a growing climate of self-censorship in America, Islamic totalitarianism is just one of the threats to free speech today. Our understanding of free speech and its importance is vital to our willingness to defend it. Visit ARIradio.com to find out what free speech really means and why anyone who values freedom must stand up for the right to free speech. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Got a wonderful sleep last night, all thanks to MyPillow. It conforms to my neck and back. It helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia. And don't take my word for it. Take Philip's word for it.
I had a problem where I was waking up every night in the middle of the night and had a hard time going back to sleep. And to be frank, I haven't had that sleep disturbance since I received MyPillow.
So if you're thinking about getting a MyPillow, now is the time to do it. 2 pillows for the price of 1. Keep 1 for yourself. Give 1 as a gift. And they have a 60-day money-back guarantee. Time is limited, so purchase your MyPillow now by going to MyPillow.com. Type Amy in the promo code or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Coming up next on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We have Patrick Moore, co-founder of Greenpeace. He endured the Paris conference. He'll tell us what the agreement means at 8:08.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, colleagues honor a fallen Chicago firefighter. A judge acquits a Chicago police commander in a brutality charge. And Chicago teachers have voted to authorize a strike. Bulls rout the 76ers and a cloudy day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. A city waits for what 12 men and women decide in the first trial to come out of Freddie Gray's death in Baltimore police custody, which sparked protests and riots. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Baltimore.
The panel, made up of 7 blacks and 5 whites, is weighing the fate of William Porter, charged with manslaughter and misconduct. Saying this case is about what he didn't do, prosecutors painted Porter as a callous cop who didn't seek medical attention for Freddie Gray, who suffered a broken neck in a police van. The defense argued Porter's a reasonable officer who did nothing wrong. No matter what the verdict, the city is vowing not to have a repeat of last spring's violent protests. An emergency operations center is open in Baltimore. Dave.
Rachel, a big issue coming out of the San Bernardino attack. One of the killers, Tashfeen Malik, did not have her social media posts supporting jihad checked when she was cleared to come to America to marry her terrorist husband.
We're now living in a world where people can't, because of the ACLU, worried about the civil liberties of this woman who was radicalized before she came. This is absurdity beyond reason.
Jeb Bush will be on stage tonight at the next Republican primetime debate in Las Vegas, where Fox's Jared Halpern's live.
Donald Trump is again center stage with the frontrunner label, insisting at a rally here last night he's an outsider.
I was on the other side. I was like establishment. Can you believe it? Now I'm a politician. I hate the term. I'm a politician. I'll never be a politician.
While Trump remains the overwhelming favorite in national polls, Iowa surveys now show Texas Senator Ted Cruz atop the field there. That is giving new attention to the first-term senator, primarily from another first-term senator, Marco Rubio. Dave.
Jared, there's an update on the economy. There was no inflation last month. Consumer prices unchanged overall as cheaper gas offset other increases like higher airfare and medical costs. Something for the Fed to consider, starting a 2-day meeting that may lead to an interest rate hike tomorrow. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Gray skies, 41 degrees, 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Questions remain after a Chicago firefighter died battling a blaze on the south side. Daniel Capuano fell down an elevator shaft yesterday morning as he searched through a smoke-filled warehouse.
It looks like that the firefighter Daniel had just walked into the elevator shaft as he was searching, couldn't see, and fell.
Investigators with the city building department now say the owners of the property did not have proper permits for certain construction that was underway, and the cause of that fire also remains under investigation. There were different verdicts in 2 police brutality cases in Chicago Monday. We get the recap from AM 560's David Stewart.
Cook County Judge Diane Cannon acquitted Commander Glenn Evans, saying that witness Ricky Williams changed his story so often, his claim that Evans shoved a gun down his throat was unreliable.
The inconsistencies in Ricky Williams' testimony date back to the day after this happened and continued for years and at the trial.
In a federal civil trial, meanwhile, a judge found 2 cops used brute force unnecessarily, beating and repeatedly shocking Philip Coleman to subdue him in his jail cell. He died a few days later, and a jury will decide damages. David Stewart, Chicago.
The Chicago Teachers Union says it's sending a message to school administrators and Mayor Rahm Emanuel with an overwhelming vote in favor of a strike. And a swim coach at Oak Forest High School resigns his role amidst allegations of inappropriate conduct with a student. No charges officially have been filed against Mark Gonzalez. He resigned his position on Friday. Chicago sports. Bulls beat Philadelphia 115-96. The news, a service of CNN and the Republican debate. The last Republican debate of 2015 on CNN tonight. Will the frontrunners build on their momentum, or will someone break out? Wolf Blitzer moderates the CNN Republican presidential debates tonight at 5 and 7:30 on CNN. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network this morning, here's Lillian Wu.
From the Fox Business Network, stock futures are higher as the Fed opens a critical two-day meeting today, which many analysts believe will end with the announcement of an interest rate hike. European shares are higher, but Asian stocks are under pressure. On Capitol Hill, a fight over tax and spending legislation going down to the wire. Lawmakers are pushing to complete work on a $1.1 trillion government-wide spending bill to prevent a shutdown and a tax package extending dozens of breaks. Republicans want an end to the ban on exporting crude oil. In return for lifting the 4-decade-old ban, Democrats are seeking various environmental concessions, including extending tax credits for solar and wind energy production for 5 years. And theater chain AMC is naming Starwood's Hotel and Resorts interim CEO Adam Aron as its new chief executive. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
8:05 in Chicago, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I was fed up with the overwhelming liberal bias in public schools, so I decided to homeschool my kids. The problem was finding a curriculum that represented the values I grew up with. Things like faith, family, patriotism, and the truth about our country's history. Then I checked out BJU Press. BJU Press has everything our homeschool needs, and with the right values. Go to bjupresshomeschool.com and see for yourself. You'll feel good about how you homeschool.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a .com domain name for only $2.99 for the first year. Right now at GoDaddy.com. 2-year purchase required. Second year is $14.99.
Do you have a retirement account? Is it likely to go up 60% or down 60%? Wake up. Low interest rates support the market, and it won't last forever. It's time to hedge with solid gold. You will regret not doing so in the next market crash. Do it right. Don't pay a setup and storage fee. Discover how. Call Goldworth. Request the IRA guide free. Call 800-257-GOLD. 800-257-GOLD. Visit goldworth.com.
8:06 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has heavy delays from Nagel to the Burn Circle. It is an hour and 5 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 45 minutes from Montrose, 32 in the Express. Outbound 36 downtown to the airport. Edens, 26 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 31, the Eisenhower. An hour and 12 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 55 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, it's 36 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 38 minutes. The Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Delays on the Tri-State are southbound from 120 to 176, northbound from 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway, heavy Roselle to Meacham. Reagan Tollway, it's clearing up. Little heavy Radiola. Veterans Memorial, stop and go Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Northwest Indiana, all good. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Considerable cloudiness today, high 44. Showers overnight, low 38. And a morning shower tomorrow, high of 53. 40 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
In fact, since this summer, ISIL has not had a single successful major
offensive operation on the ground in either Syria or Iraq.
Now, in the wake of the worst terror attack since 9/11, federal agents are reconstructing the online history of Malik and her husband Syed Farouk. A history that shows even before they met, they were on the road to jihad, something authorities could have known but did not, as she was welcomed to America.
You know, obviously, things went wrong.
I know why I have feelings, good, bad, and otherwise, about Star Wars, and I have a lot. I spent the whole day talking about the whole Darth Vader situation. But
Really?
Oh.
You could?
Yeah, like...
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So over the weekend, the Paris Agreement was agreed to? This is 195 nations coming together to agree that wealth should be transferred from the first world to the third world in exchange for reporting requirements that'll be enforced by shaming. And that's about it, as far as I can tell.
It takes place, so it starts 2020. So we have a few years to work out the kinks.
Oh, this is ongoing, and President Obama has made us a global leader.
A few hours ago, we succeeded. We came together around the strong agreement the world needed. We met the moment. Today, the American people can be proud because this historic agreement is a tribute to American leadership. Over the past 7 years, we've transformed the United States into the global leader in fighting climate change.
So we got that going for us, which is nice. Or is it? We're now joined by our friend, he's a scientist, Dr. Patrick Moore. He is a co-founder of Greenpeace, served for 9 years as president of Greenpeace Canada and 7 years as a director of Greenpeace International. He joins us now. Patrick Moore, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Nice to be with you again, Dan.
So I know we spoke to you when you were in Paris attending the conference. You were not particularly sanguine that anything other than what came out of the conference was going to come out of the conference. In fact, you kind of predicted more or less what came out of it. But how would you assess the four corners of what was outlined by President Obama and Secretary Kerry over the weekend?
Well, it's amazing that the president can maintain this specter of leadership when he wasn't even able to deliver a treaty. And that's because, of course, he knows, and John Kerry kind of admitted it going into the conference, that the Congress would never pass a legally binding piece of legislation on this issue. And that was proven under the Clinton-Gore administration when there was a vote of 95 to nothing in the Congress, in the Senate, over this issue. So basically they've agreed to disagree while making it look as though they have an agreement. And what this agreement does is it lets India and China continue to ramp up their coal-fired electricity, which they need in order to give their people a decent standard of living. India has 300 million people with no electricity. Can you imagine if 300 million people in the United States had no electricity, what it would be like?
That's 98% of the population.
Exactly. And can anybody who has electricity all their lives since they were born imagine what it would be like to just have no electricity all of a sudden? No refrigerator, no television, no games, no nothing, no lights except for candles. And so they're living like people did over 100 years ago, and it's time that was changed. And Prime Minister Modi, who I admire greatly, is a traditionalist/modernist because his party is very steeped in tradition. India has tradition going back thousands of years, but he's a modernist. He believes in modern technology. When he was governor of Gujarat, he brought the first genetically modified plant crop into India, the cotton, which has more than doubled their cotton production and made farmers much better off than they were. India's gone from a cotton importing country to a cotton exporting country, but the anti-GM movement has succeeded since then in preventing any more, and he's going to try to change that too. So what we have here is a situation where the rich countries, if they want to waste their money, can go on with building huge wind and solar farms at massive expense to everybody except the people who own the wind and solar farms. So it plays really well into crony capitalism. And at the same time, everybody pays a little bit more for their power and eventually a lot more for their power, like in Germany, where it's 3 times as much as it is in the U.S. now. So it's a giant, not conspiracy, because they're doing it right out in the open. It's a convergence of interests among a whole bunch of elites in society, including the media, the Greens, the politicians, who can use this as an excuse to tax carbon with sort of a sin tax. They'd actually prefer you continued using fossil fuels because then they can tax them, just like was with cigarettes before people finally smartened up to that. But fossil fuels are not like cigarettes. They don't give you cancer. They give you wealth, prosperity. They give you longevity, and they give you freedom. And
Dr. Patrick Moore, this is Amy Jacobson, by the way.
Hi, Amy.
Hi. And I live in the city, and there's a major push going on right now to sign us up for alternative energy and wind energy as opposed to the fossil fuels that you're speaking about. But we can do so, but double our rate. But they want to lock us in now. Should I say no to this proposal?
Yes, you should. And you should be happy that you have 11 nuclear power plants running in your state. I think more than any other state. That's and right. providing a big percentage of your electricity. It's sort of like the hydroelectric in the West. You don't have the big mountains to do that with, but hydroelectric and nuclear are the 2 best options if you want to have something other than fossil fuel making your electricity. But, and that's a good thing, except the Greens are against both hydro and nuclear because they're stupid. And
yeah, but they can't explain. I said, how are the windmills near Bloomington, Illinois? How is that energy going to be moved up to me and to our homes here in Chicago? She couldn't explain it.
Well, they move it on the grid, but only when the wind is blowing. And this is the central problem with wind and solar. Not only is it more expensive than the other forms of energy, but it doesn't work 24/7. They act as if it does, as if it's going to be there all the time. You go and you look at these buildings, they say this building is 100% wind-powered. Well, how is the building being powered when the wind isn't blowing? They do a shell game in order to make it look like that, you see. And so it is a total shell game. And when you build a wind farm, you have to build something else or already have something else that is reliable. So for when the wind isn't blowing. So wind and solar are kind of like parasites on the host of the reliable energy. And what they do is then when the wind is blowing, the government is going to make the utility buy the wind, even though it's more expensive than the reliable energy that's already running that they could be buying. No, but they have to buy the wind. Therefore, the gas plant has to shut down. And that makes it less profitable because it's not running 24/7 like it would normally do. So in Germany, they've got this problem where they're having to sell their energy for minus amounts. They're having to give their energy away and pay people to take it. This is happening in Germany right now. And you can find it if you research hard because they don't really want people to know this is what's going on there. But their energy prices are triple what they are in the U.S. and Canada, where we at least haven't allowed this to take us over completely like they have in Germany. And now France is thinking of doing the same thing, even though they've got 70% nuclear. They're trying to ramp down their nuclear and put in more wind and solar. It's like some kind of mental disease.
It's like the old Soviet agrarian co-ops, that led to the massive food shortage in the former Soviet Union.
That's a decent comparison, yes.
We're talking to Patrick Moore. He's co-founder of Greenpeace, served for 9 years as president of Greenpeace Canada, 7 years as director of Greenpeace International as a director, and he's a scientist. Dr.
And I'm long gone.
Yes, well, clearly, with this kind of loose talk, yes. A question going back to the Paris Agreement. Much is being made by President Obama and John Kerry of the reporting requirements, these reporting protocols that every nation has to develop and update every 5 years. Provide your assessment of those reporting protocols for us.
Well, there's no inspection, like there is with the Atomic Energy Agency, where people actually go in and make sure what you're reporting is true. That's one point. It's only once every 5 years. There is actually no legally binding requirements on anybody. Everybody has filed what they call their intended carbon plan, and so that it's all about goodwill and aspirations and promises, just like politicians always make. And they still give this veneer of science when people should notice that it's called the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. It's a political body, and it's using scientists to justify what it's doing. And what it's doing is taking control of the energy in the world and then taxing it. And so it really is just a control power move. And all the people, if you look at all the usual suspects that are involved in this, you can see that they are the political people who are wanting to basically create some kind of world government that controls the whole of our energy use.
I just wonder, since you were at the Paris conference, was there any opportunity given to individuals like yourself who are not signed on to the orthodoxy of the climate alarmists to address the conference, to present their work, any discussion at all with people who disagree?
No, we had to have separate conferences, Dan. They actually shut skeptics out. Skeptics sounds like a bad word. It's actually every scientist's duty to be skeptical all the time, because truth is sometimes very elusive, and there's a lot of propaganda in this world. And so it's a duty of a scientist to be skeptic, and they make it seem like a dirty word. But the truth is that there's more science now on the skeptic side than there is on the warmist side, so much more. I mean, it hasn't even warmed in the last 20 years, and during which time we put about a third of all our CO2 into the atmosphere. So it's looking like, contrary to the hypothesis, CO2 does not really have much effect on the Earth's temperature. However, it has a huge positive effect on the growth of plants, such as all our food crops and all our forests and every other living thing that uses photosynthesis and the sun. So, because it's the main food that the sun helps plants eat, and this is what people need to understand, is that CO2 is not a pollutant. It is the most important food for all life on Earth. We got to turn this thing on its head, or we are going into a science intellectual dark ages here.
Dr. Patrick Moore, co-founder of Greenpeace, a scientist himself. Dr. Patrick Moore, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Nice to be with you, Dan.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Considerable cloudiness today. No sunshine, but it will be mild, a high of 44 degrees. And tomorrow it looks even better. We're going to have morning showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy, but mild, a high in the mid-50s. Let's see how the inbound Kennedy's shaping up. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. It's improved a little bit. We see delays from Nagle to the Burn Circle. It's 58 minutes, so here to downtown. Time's come down a bit. 37 from Montrose, 32 in the Express. Up on 36 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens, 26 minutes like Cook to Montrose, up on 27, but the Eisenhower. An hour and 4 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. It's 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 33 minutes to Thorndale to Stevenson. An hour and 8 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, southbound delay start at Bryn Mawr, 35 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. The Tri-State has a southbound delay from around Town Line, that's 60 to Everett Road. Northbound slow 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial, stop and go Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and Lake to 290. The other tollways for now are fairly light. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Experience something completely different this Christmas season. Take your loved one to hear the music of Frank Sinatra and the rest of the Rat Pack from award-winning entertainer Ron Hawking. This Christmas spectacular will be taking place one night only, Sunday, December 20th at, Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. To learn more, visit 560theanswer.com. Search the keyword Sinatra. And right now, be caller number 20, because the event takes place Sunday, December 20th. Caller number 20 to 312-642-5600 wins a pair of tickets to see Ron Hawking at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville Sunday, December 20th. Again, caller number 20 wins a pair of tickets, 312-642-5600. Good luck.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, nothing frustrates me more than liberal hypocrisy. Take our food, for example. You know, the left claims to care about the poor and the environment, but guess what? They're waging a silent war against America's farmers that is making our food supply more costly and less sustainable. America's family farmers are producing more food using less land and fewer resources than ever before. Now, they should be cheered, but instead, radical groups are working with government bureaucrats to crack down on our farmers and limit the tools and technology that they're allowed to use. Now, the result is higher food costs for you, the American consumer, and low-income families, they're hit the hardest. Now, thankfully, someone is fighting back. Protect the Harvest is a national coalition working to defend modern American agriculture. You can check them out at protecttheharvest.com and follow them on Facebook to get the very latest news and see how you can help. Don't let radical activists control your family's food choices. Visit protecttheharvest.com today.
Here's Dr. Howard, formulator of Balance of Nature, an all-natural, 100% organic fruit and vegetable supplement.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Get real today with Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to begin? Do you fear your job is in jeopardy, or is your business income reduction keeping you awake at night? We're in the best time in 25 years to make a fortune in real estate without using your money or credit. My name is Ron LeGrand, and I've taught 500,000 people to do just that and personally bought hundreds of houses myself. If you'll call 800-970-6156, 24 hours, and leave your information, I'll send you the first 500 callers my hot new CD, Foreclosure Fortunes, and my best-selling book to help you get started absolutely free. I'll show you how to build a six-figure income part-time with no previous experience and no license, even if you're a busy professional. Call 800-970-6156, 24 hours, and get my new book and CD free. That's 800-970-6156. Take your life back and make this your best year ever. Call 800-970-6156 now.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's that time of year again when we give to those less fortunate this holiday season. And we've teamed up with Feed the Children. What's raised here stays here. And they provide food, sundry items to those in need at shelters and at food pantries in the Chicago area. Asking for a one-time donation of $76 to help feed 16. That's a lot of kids. 16 hungry kids this holiday season. It takes a few minutes. Operators are standing by when you call 866-435-2248. That's 866-435-2248.
Or you could be like one of these astounding corporate citizens: Viking Ski Shop, Alliance Home Service Inc., Lockport Steel Fabricators, Air Filter Engineers, Chris Jacobs Century 21 Affiliates, Blue Peak Premium Tent and Event Rental, Lindholm Roofing, Charles Equipment, Express Pros, North State Steel, Franciscan Outreach, Strata Contractors, Inspire Realty Partners, and dozens more businesses who've all signed up for a business benefactor program, made a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Feed the Children, and are receiving in return 40 60-second commercials that will run Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on these airwaves at AM 560 The Answer.
You know, it's a great way to reach sophisticated, affluent, like-minded listeners like our listeners. And if you've thought about advertising on radio in the past, this is really a great way to get your foot in the door and just try it out. $2,500. All of the money goes to Feed the Children. It's tax deductible, and you'll get those 41-minute commercials. Call Michael Mann right now. He is in his office. He is standing by. You okay over there? Oh, is it my
tying
meatloaf?
my shoe.
Oh, you're tying. Wow.
I'm a little stiff this morning.
Played basketball last night?
No.
You do have some sparkles on your face, but we'll get to that later. Call Michael Mann right now. You do. You have glitter under your left eye. I've been staring at it all morning. Call Michael Mann at
Is it a meatloaf?
847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, more than ever, choosing a real estate agent to sell your home is one of the most important decisions you can make.
I'm Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know what it takes to sell your home.
The Wall Street Journal ranked Ed at 88th in the entire country for closed listings.
I know that there's no gimmick to selling your home, just a strategic marketing plan and the confidence needed to make your transaction successful.
Chicago Agent Magazine recognized Ed as the #1 rank in Will County.
You can hire anybody to list your house, but you'll need the local market knowledge that I have to sell it.
When Ed saw market trends change, he was ready and promptly received a RE/MAX of Northern Illinois Trendsetter Award.
Sure, it takes awards, but it also takes a lot of effort. So why would you try to sell your home with a we'll sell your house or buy it from you kind of agent? If an agent has to promise to buy your listing, then something's seriously wrong.
Call Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
Is this where we talk? Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. Oh, Chamonix. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm a hot mess. I'll admit it. I'll take the fault. It's my fault. We're having a conversation.
A year's not over. Get it together,
All
Jacob.
right. Hey, take a quick look in the mirror. Do you see those bags under your eyes? Imagine them gone. Men and women, you know, you have to admit it, you both have them. And there's only 1 week left for the Chamonix holiday sale. So now is the time to get rid of those bags and puffiness under your eyes safely and naturally. Introducing Genucell plant stem cell therapy for bags and puffiness under the eyes. My sister and I have been using it for a few months now. Bags are gone, there's firmness in the skin, and the skin is glowing. And with its instant effects, you'll see results in the first 12 hours, guaranteed, or your money back. But don't wait. This crazy sale will only be around for 1 more week. Order now, and you'll also get the legendary Esotique face cream as a free gift. Give the gift of healthier skin this holiday season. Call 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323. Call now, and express holiday shipping is also free. 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk debate with Byron York, of course, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner. That's at 8:38.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Cloudy and 41 degrees. Republican presidential hopefuls square off for their final debate of the year. Top 9 on stage for the main event, beginning around 7:30 on CNN and here on AM 560. The Answer, and Donald Trump will be trying to fend off all 8 others on the stage.
They're all coming after me. I heard today, I'm saying, man, this is like crazy. Who's going to attack Trump first? Will it be this one? You know, he's taken down 7 so far. You know, if you look, so far, everyone that's attacked me has gone right down the tube.
Trump continues again to lead in some national polls, like the most recent Monmouth poll, and his recent comments about banning Muslims from the U.S. will likely be a hot topic. House Republicans pushing for the review of social media postings by anyone applying for U.S. visas. However, the White House responded yesterday, Josh Earnest, saying adding social media reviews to visa applications would be tricky.
I wouldn't leave you with the impression that resources are the only consideration, but they certainly are an important one when you are considering implementing a program. The process has tens of thousands of people into the United States each year.
The move comes after word that the San Bernardino shooter, Tashfeen Malik, had posted support for ISIS before she came to the United States. House Speaker Paul Ryan says he expects White House and congressional negotiators to put the final touches today on a compromise tax and spending package. It is a $1.1 trillion bill. Jurors continue deliberations today in the trial of a Baltimore police officer charged in the death of Freddie Gray. Questions remain after a Chicago firefighter died while battling a blaze on the south side. And a federal judge says a Chicago police employee used excessive force, dragging a man down a hallway after he was stunned by officers in a jail cell. The ruling handed down yesterday in a lawsuit filed against the city by the family of Philip Coleman. Chicago sports last night. Jimmy Butler had 23 in the Bulls win over Philadelphia, 115-96. Blackhawks take on Colorado later tonight. The news, a service of CNN and the Republican debate. The last Republican debates of 2015 on CNN tonight. Will the frontrunners build on their momentum, or will someone break new ground? Wolf Blitzer moderates the CNN Republican presidential debates tonight at 5 and 7:30, only on CNN. 8:33 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Chicago Wolves host Rockford Saturday at 7, part of the Illinois Lottery Cup, and Monday the 21st versus Manitoba. Saturday is T-shirt giveaway night sponsored by Hyde & Hine. For information, visit ChicagoWolves.com.
If you or someone you know is addicted to drugs or alcohol, please store this number or call right now. 1-800-417-7740. That's 1-800-417-7740. By calling the Addiction Rehab Specialist, you're taking the first steps to recovery. Their advisors are ready to match you with a proven 5-star treatment center that will help you end your drug or alcohol addiction once and for all. Don't waste any more time with drugs or alcohol. Your future is still a bright place. Let the Addiction Rehab Specialist help you break your addiction to drugs and alcohol before it's too late. This call is completely confidential, and if you have private insurance, there'll be little to no cost to you. Even if you've already been to treatment, give us a call. There's no need to let drugs and alcohol ruin your life. Take the first step now. Call the Addiction Rehab Specialist at 1-800-417-7740. That's 1-800-417-7740. 1-800-417-7740.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
8:36 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens has delays from Foster to the junction. 24 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 23. On Kennedy, stop and go Nagel to the Burn Circle. 58 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 37 from Montrose. 32 in the Express. Outbound 30 minutes downtown to O'Hare. About Eisenhower, an hour and 4 minutes from Thorndale to the Loop. 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 33 to Thorndale. Stevenson really jammed, especially from Harlem to Kedzie and Ashland to Lakeshore Drive. An hour and 14 minutes from 355 to the Drive. An hour and 3 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound, just a 4-minute delay from Harlem to First Avenue. About Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, northbound slow. Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, and northbound from Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound heavy, 60 to Everett. Northbound from the Mile Long Bridge to 31st, and from the Reagan-Tillway to North Avenue. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Clouds on the increase. High 44 today. A shower overnight, low 38. 41 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Joe Walsh here. Listen to me fit an entire show into only 30 minutes as we preview the debate. Freedom does the impossible at 5.
Wow, how is he going to get by?
Dan and Amy, tonight's debate starting 5:30 on these airwaves. You can hear it here, and the only place you can hear it in Chicago on the radio is AM 560, The Answer. Be interesting. A lot is being made of the Cruz-Trump matchup. A lot is being made of Trump's stubborn poll numbers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's called the showdown.
Yeah.
The Trump
Right,
Cruz showdown.
You got to have the
Who's gonna
Vegas
win?
hype, right? Like it's a prize fight. Interesting piece in the Wall Street Journal today by Bill McGurn. He writes, after 7 years of a U.S. commander-in-chief who talks down to his fellow citizens, the nation is desperate for a president who has enough faith in the good sense of the American people to lay before them a strong foreign policy. He goes on to say, instead of whining about Mr. Trump's support and the stupidity of his followers, here's to the Republican contender with the wit to try to take that support away from Mr. Trump by offering Mr. Trump's voters a clear, strong, and superior alternative. Can Ted Cruz do that? We'll put that question to our friend Byron York, who's taken a little time away from the mini Baccarat table in Vegas to join us. He, of course, the chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner. Byron, thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
And so what about Bill McGurn's admonition to stop whining about Trump and Trump's support and provide a strong, clear alternative that will woo some of his support that candidate's way, perhaps Ted Cruz's way?
Well, that appears to be what Cruz is doing now in Iowa, which is, after all, the state that votes first. We've seen a number of polls, Des Moines Register, Fox, and Monmouth, that show Cruz with a solid lead there. So it actually appears that that's happening. On the other hand, nationally, we just had this new round of polls from the Washington Post and others showing Trump with his biggest lead ever at 41% and 38%. So going to this, there was a Trump rally last night here in Las Vegas, going to that, going to other Trump events, talking to supporters. You know, it's pretty clear that people are attracted to Trump because they believe he is the strongest leader. He tells them big, broad things like he's going to stop illegal immigration, or he'll stop Muslim immigration to the United States, or he'll raise taxes on the hedge fund guys. He tells them kind of vague things like that. They accept it because they think he's a very strong leader.
Byron Rourke, who do you think has the most to lose at tonight's debate?
Well, I think that the race seems to be more and more turning into kind of a four-man race with Trump and Cruz and Ben Carson still in the race and Marco Rubio. I think basically we've seen kind of a disappearing act from Carson pretty much since the terrorist attacks in Paris, which were November 13th, a month ago.
Yeah, where has he been?
Well, he's been out there, you know, he's campaigning. He's not the most energetic campaigner in the world. He's not everywhere all the time. But I think Carson is in danger of just kind of fading away, disappearing. So I think if he does that in the debate tonight, that's certainly not good for him.
Well, so what do you, I'm sorry, what do you...
No, go on.
What do you expect from all of the buildup to Trump-Cruz, the showdown, a little bit of sniping this week? It seems to me that rather than a slugfest between the two, it's much more likely to be a bit of a pillow fight because Ted Cruz got here by not going after Donald Trump, by not insulting him, by not insulting his supporters, by just providing kind of his distinguishing vision for the country. And Trump also has been fairly reticent to preemptively launch on too many people. It's more he comes over the top when they launch on him. So isn't it likely that the two could have kind of separate conversations and not cross swords at all?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I think that's a real good point you bring up because we have seen this sniping, but not really from Cruz. You know, Trump has always said, you know, Cruz has been so nice to me, I'm not going to attack him. I'm sure that'll change soon. And then he took the occasion of a news story in which Cruz allegedly or questioned Trump's fitness to be president in a private fundraiser that was secretly recorded. He took that as the occasion to launch a few attacks on Cruz. Last night at the big rally in Las Vegas, Trump did not attack Cruz. I mean, stay far away from him. As a matter of fact, the only thing he said about Cruz, he said, Ted Cruz, good guy, and then went on. So if that's any indication, Trump may not be in a big mood to go after him. So your description of this is possibly a pillow fight. It might be actually a pretty good one. Maybe I'll steal that later on.
Yeah, he's good like that. Speaking of being good, Jeb Bush, I mean, this is, I think it's a do or die time for him. I mean, here's the 5th GOP debate. And if he sinks in this one, do you think he'll swim his way out?
Well, I just saw headlines that it's now or never for Jeb Bush. I mean, wasn't it now or never the last time? And the time before that?
Yeah, exactly.
So, look, Bush is really sunk into middle of the pack, perhaps even lower middle of the pack, and nothing has worked. He has spent more money than anybody on advertising. And in this year, where you have not just the Trump phenomenon, but you have Ted Cruz mounting a very strong campaign, Rubio making a very strong appeal, and the sort of the unique appeal of Carson as well. I mean, there just has not been room for Jeb Bush, who everybody knew brought all sorts of baggage, that is basically his last name, into this race, and there was a question beforehand whether anyone named Bush could get traction in this race, and I think we're seeing the answer now.
You mentioned the 3 candidates: Rubio, Cruz, Trump, Carson fading. Any possibility you see for Chris Christie to make a play in New Hampshire and get into this race? It seems like he's been buoyed a little bit by. Not by the Paris tax. I don't mean it that way. I mean it by he's a prosecutor, he's a tough guy, and this has been his moment to step in as well.
Well, it's good that you raised him. I went to a Rubio rally yesterday, about 10 times smaller than Trump's, and there were some people who said good things about Chris Christie. Here in Las Vegas, there are a number of people who've come here from the East. And maybe New Jersey specifically, and they have pretty much a positive disposition toward Christie. In New Hampshire, Christie has done this completely the old-fashioned way. He's bet everything on New Hampshire. He spent a lot of time there, and the polls have really shown him doing quite well there. So if he were to win New Hampshire or finish second in New Hampshire, that would certainly tell everybody, Chris Christie is in the game. Problem with candidates who bet everything on one state, all their time, all their money, is that they win the one state and they're not prepared to campaign everywhere else you have to campaign to win. So I think you could see that problem, even if he does well in New Hampshire.
Doesn't the conversation about Rubio and Cruz, just to focus on them for a second, doesn't it indicate how much more conservative the Republican Party has become when the kind of the center of gravity is Cruz as the conservative and the conservative grassroots candidate, and somehow Rubio, who was a Tea Party candidate in 2010, is the establishment candidate?
Well, it has moved right some, although Rubio has fit in fairly comfortably with support from the establishment, perhaps in largest part because he has developed sort of a McCain-like view on foreign policy and U.S. involvement in the war on terror and all that. But you're right. It's there's a bunch of conservatives here, but there is still what's called a moderate lane. It's just not producing candidates who are dominating the race. You can say that Jeb Bush is in it. You could say that Chris Christie is in it. You can say that John Kasich is in it. And these just do not appear to be the guys who are setting the race on fire.
All right. Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, live in Las Vegas. We'll look forward to your analysis of tonight's debate. Byron, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.
And I can't wait because I'm still candidate shopping. So I'm going to be taking copious notes this evening, and hopefully I'll come up with a candidate by tomorrow morning.
And right now you're leaning Pataki, right?
Yeah. How did you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we'll see how he does tonight.
Lindsey Graham. No.
Yeah. You're more of an undercard type.
Yeah, I like that one better.
Sean in Elmwood Park,
I'll
in
vote for
Chicago's
Sean.
Morning Answer.
Listen, what are moderate fundamentals? What are moderate facts? And what are moderate truths? Can a homeowner compromise with a burglar? This whole talk by these very reasonable guys of how we need to get to the middle of the road. That's why we're in the predicament we are in. There are no compromises with wrong answers. Rubio is considered an establishment because he's a liar, a fraud, a Bush lackey. There are all but three. And what's going to happen now, and let me say this, Donald Trump, I believe, is a patriot. I think he's a basically nice guy. But in real estate, you do not need fundamental economics. You need guts, you need a little bit of money, you need optimism.
Okay,
That's how you
Warren
become a
Zevon.
real estate.
Yeah.
I'm
Lawyers,
just telling
guns,
you.
and money. I got it.
But what's going to happen tonight is that Cruz, Fiorina, and brilliant Ben Carson, who has been portrayed and slandered by people who can't tie his shoes as an idiot, they will separate themselves tonight, and you will leave all the rest in the dust. And the only reason Jeb Bush is up there, the scumbag that he is because he's going to do what his father did. He's going to try to muscle in as VP and ruin everything. I can't wait to get him and Kasich, the pock-faced moron, out of there. Let's get rid of the Lehman twins. I want them gone.
All right,
Well, I think that's a super philosophy, Sean.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Always entertaining. Today, considerable cloudiness, a high of 44 degrees. Then tomorrow, we're going to have a morning shower. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy, mild, a high of 53. Travel times. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thank you, Amy. And it's kind of intense on the inbound Stevenson, too, especially from Harlem to Kedzie. And it's really jammed this morning between Ashland and Lakeshore Drive. It's an hour and 14 minutes from 355 to the drive, an hour and 4 minutes from the Tri-State outbound. Got about a 4-minute delay from Harlem before First Avenue, where there's a crash in the right lane. The Edens is 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound now 30. The Kennedy, 54 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30 minutes there. The Eisenhower, an hour and 6 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, outbound just 31 minutes. The Rhine is 32 minutes from 95th to the Loop. The tollways are improving. Northbound Tri-State still heavy between the Mile Long Bridge and 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway a bit slow. Barrington to Roselle. The other tollways have cleared up. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Hey guys, wouldn't your wife, girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and it's simple and easy with the gift of the world's softest pajamas available exclusively at pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. Talk about dreamy. She'll love the way the world's softest pajama feels, and you'll love the way that it caresses every curve. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to linger just a little bit longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at pajamagram.com, so visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving to both of you. You don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, Christmas Day delivery guaranteed. Visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs and tell them that Dan and Amy sent you. And right now, be caller number 5 to 312-642-5600. Again, caller number 5 will win a $100 gift certificate to pajamagram.com. That's again, caller number 5, 312-642-5600 will win a $100 gift certificate to pajamagram.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you needed help refinancing after the Big Corner Bank messed up your loan, even though you've heard thousands of my ads telling you not to waste your time at the Big Corner Bank, you called me and I helped you. If you would like to talk to me about a mortgage, please give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com. AirComfort.com licensing.
We're here reporting live from Santa's workshop. Santa, thanks for taking time in the busiest season of the year.
Oh, we stay busy all year round.
How do you stay so busy without getting sick?
That's easy. My elves and I take Balance of Nature.
Balance of Nature? What's that?
Using the magic of modern technology, Balance of Nature has taken whole fruits and vegetables and stuffed them into little capsules.
And they keep you healthy?
Works for me. What do you think, Gimbal?
Well, I take it, and I haven't had a sick day in over 3,000 years.
So make sure to stuff your stockings with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies.
There you have it from the man himself. Stuff your stockings with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies to stay healthy all year round. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO to get a free stocking stuffer with your first order.
Have a Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year.
AM 560, The Answer.
Santa baby, slipping sable under the tree.
It would help if I knew the words to the song.
Couldn't hurt. Yeah.
Minor detail.
Yeah.
But what's not minor is the long list of
Is that
business,
Leanne Rimes, by the way?
Yes. Business benefactors.
Whatever happened to her?
She's still around. No, why did you say what you said yesterday? Say it.
She you know, she had some awkward growing pains, I think.
She divorced her parents.
She did?
Yeah.
Like Drew Barrymore and Irreconcilable Differences?
Anyway, let's talk about something fun. Our business benefactor list that is growing by leaps and bounds. Comet Motorsports, Flex Executives Management Solutions, A1 Airport Limousine Service, just to name a few. Heartstrings, my favorite. I'm wearing their necklace right now.
It's lovely.
And it is lovely. You have one too.
I do, and it's lovely as well.
And how you can be a part of the cool crowd is if you call Michael Mann right now at 847-871-1527. Here's the deal. If you become a business benefactor, you make a one-time donation of $2,500, tax deductible. All of the money goes to our charity, Feed the Children. And as a way of saying thank you, we give you, listen to this, give you 40 one-minute commercials that are going to run prime time right here on AM 560. Michael Mann, he's waiting by his phone, 847-871-1527.
So do you think a politician can fix Illinois' problems? Me either. That's why I invested and I opened a real estate company in South Florida. Real wealth comes from real estate. I'm Sean Thompson. My company is Liberty Real Estate Services, and it's time to invest in a personal real estate portfolio that will secure your future. With Liberty Real Estate, we'll help you buy those properties, and most importantly, we'll help you manage those properties once they've been acquired. Financial independence can only be achieved when you've broken down the market like I have. Nobody wants to rent your 401k, but many want to rent your house. Real wealth comes from real estate with Liberty Real Estate Services. Call me right now at 630-323-4376. That number again is 630-323-4376, or visit the website at libertyrealestateservices.com for information you'll need to get real financial freedom and control your destiny. 630-323-4376 or libertyrealestateservices.com.
Liberty Real Estate Services, LLC. Illinois license number 481011303. Florida license ID BK3339363.
Dan Proft here, guys. The holidays are now upon us. Do you want the gift that keeps on giving? Of course you do. How about giving yourself a healthier life and more energy to do the things you want to do with family and friends? If you've been feeling like a grumpy old man lately, it's time to get your testosterone level checked at Low T Center. I did. It's quick, easy, and with their on-site lab, you'll know your results in minutes. Plus, their services are covered by most health insurance. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy and can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. Low T Center even has convenient and flexible hours, so give yourself the gift that keeps on giving this December. Call Low T Center now and tell them Dan Proft sent you. Call today, 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305, or go online at lowtcenter.com.
Merry Christmas, honey. Santa got something for you.
Aw, thanks, babe. Oh, look, it's my very own dust bunny.
What? How did that get in there?
I'm not sure, but I'd classify this as a gift we probably shouldn't give to anyone.
Sorry, sweetie. I feel awful. It's probably time to clean up before the rest of the family invades this week, huh?
Give the gift of a clean house this holiday season from Royal Air Duct Cleaning. There's no better time to tidy up for your guests than right now, because with a visit to RoyalAirDuctCleaning.com, you'll stuff your stocking with an incredible $149 special, normally $298. Send sneezes, dust bunnies, and allergens on their way so you can welcome in a clean holiday. Visit RoyalAirDuctCleaning.com now to cash in on your $149 special. Ask them about their carpet cleaning for that extra twinkle and sparkle. That's RoyalAirDuctCleaning.com. Happy holidays from the Royal Air Duct Cleaning family to you.
Too high. Your property taxes are too high. Illinois has the second highest property tax rate in the country, a burden that unfairly penalizes people like you. Why does Illinois have the second highest property tax rate in the country? Because elected officials spend too much money. Year after year, lawmakers promise to freeze the property tax rate. They make false promises at election time and fail to get the job done. The result? Property tax rates go up and up. It's time to force the politicians to keep their promise to voters. Join Americans for Prosperity in the fight to freeze property taxes. Go to AFPIL.org to start a tax freeze petition in your community. Go to AFPIL.org to put the brakes on runaway property taxes. If you're sick and tired of ever increasing property taxes, do something about it. Go to AFPIL.org, paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Well, thank you so much for making us a part of your morning. And thanks to David Stripling, our technical director, and Cesar Perez, the executive producer.
Shake and bake.
And enjoy the debate. You can listen to it live right here on AM 560, The Answer, beginning at 5:30 this evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 5 a.m. for a complete breakdown, and we're going to take your phone calls. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an Aurora man pleads guilty in a terror plot. Colleagues honor a fallen Chicago firefighter. A gun found in a Bloom Trail High School locker, and the Bulls rout the 76ers by 19. A cloudy day ahead in your forecast. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump will be senator.